Eric Almirola, top 10 in 3 of the last 5 at Martinsville. Another Stewart-Haas Mustang, Chase Briscoe, top 10 in both races here last year. Martin Truex Jr. Keep an eye on Martin. You can't spell Martinsville without Martin. He's won 3 of the last 7 here. And Tyler Reddick, fast in practice here. Kevin Harvick is the 4th and final, and all of the Stewart-Haas cars in the top 10 in qualifying. William Byron, 2 wins this season, and as Bobby mentioned, 1 here last year. Row 5, Bubba Wallace, twice a winner in the Truck Series here, and Chris Buescher, who got a win at Bristol last September. That is your top 10. But the big story is the return of NASCAR's most popular driver, Clint.
Sure is. Let's go to that guy. Hey, Chase Elliott, it's Boyer and the boys up in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, man. How's it going?
Man, it's going. Can't wait to see you do work. It's got to feel good to strap back in that race car, look over and see all them shirts with a 9 and your name on the back of it.
Yeah, I'll be honest, it's been really cool. Just the fans and everybody's support here today definitely feels good and feels like I'm back at home. You don't realize how much your life revolves around this stuff until you're gone for a few weeks. So I appreciate that, and yeah, just ready to get back to work.
We're looking forward to watching you. Good luck out there, buddy.
Appreciate it. Y'all enjoy.
Now today's race comes with a chance to win $5,000 of Clint's cash, and it's for free. Play Fox Bet Super 6 by downloading the free app on your phone now. Enter your 6 predictions for today's race, and if all 6 are right, Clint's cash is as good as yours. Download Fox Bet Super 6, start playing for free. All right, let's check in on pit road. Jamie Little first.
Well, Mike, 1 year ago, William Byron dominated this race. And then in victory lane, he dedicated the win to his mom, who was there at the track after beating cancer last year. Well, his mom and dad are back here at the track once again, and they might see a repeat. William was fast in practice, fast in qualifying, good on the long run. Bottom line, 24 fans, you should be optimistic. Regan Smith.
Well, Jamie, last time we were here, it was, of course, the Hail Melon by Ross Chastain, where he passed 5 cars in the last 2 corners of the race to get through to the championship 4. This time, a different set of circumstances, though. He is going to be starting 34th today, and is going to have to pass 33 cars if he wants to win. Struggles in qualifying relegated him to that position. He told me earlier today the key is going to be not panicking early and taking what he can get. And in a weird set of circumstances, the pit box is directly across from where that Hail Melon took place a couple months ago. Larry Mack?
Yeah, Regan, we'll be watching what goes on the racetrack, but we have to watch pit road. It will be a thorn in the side of these drivers and these teams. Very tight pit road, almost hard to run side by side. The pit boxes are the smallest on any of the racetracks we go to. It never fails drivers running at each other, either entering or exiting their pit box. And speeding, Mike, pit road speed limit 30 miles per hour, 29 pit road speeding penalties over the last 4 races at Martinsville.
Thanks, Larry. Joey Logano dropping to the back of the pack. They discovered a water leak this morning on his Penske Mustang. So that's an unapproved adjustment. He will go to the back. 3 teams had cracked brake rotors from practice. Were allowed to make that change because NASCAR considered that a safety issue. So the offending rotors were changed without penalty. 2 driver changes this week. Zane Smith, the Truck Series champ, is in the number 51 for Rick Ware Racing. Cody Ware, facing an assault charge, has been suspended by NASCAR as part of their behavioral policy. And the 78 has Anthony Alfredo aboard. He is subbing this week for B.J. McLeod. The weather is questionable today. Now,
yes,
we have to make it to the earlier of the end of stage 2 or halfway for this race to be official. The end of stage 2 is lap 180. Anything after that would be an official race, but you can bet if we get to stage 3, we could be racing the rain.
Well, I think that's just it. I mean, looking over your shoulder, those clouds are building and looks like a little bit of moisture in them. And I think as long as it's a little bit of moisture, Bobby, you may see those old rain tires come out and get on these hot rods.
Yeah, we saw that obviously in the truck race Friday night. And I was surprised how fast they ran in the wet conditions. And it wasn't raining, but they definitely dried it off.
Well, here we go for 400 laps in the NOCO 400. Ryan Preece, Daniel Suarez take the green flag.
your door. Quarter.
Battle to get down now. Suarez can't get clear of him.
There he does.
Gets down. A lot of patience.
Yeah. Priest got a good start there. You know, run a lap on the bottom and somebody on the outside, but cleared him, so now he can kind of rest a little bit.
Now Briscoe on the outside in the 14, side by side with Truex. Remember, Briscoe had that broken finger, and that has still not been resolved. He wanted to get through Martinsville before going to see the doctor for surgery. So another week in the race car before he's able to get that taken care of.
He's going to need to get down. Speaking of taking care of, there's a whole teammate. That's a good teammate right there. Kevin Harvick let him in. It's a pretty nice favor to have there, Bobby.
Yeah, I would say that, you know, obviously right now a teammate helps you, and you're running out there, and you don't want to be tearing your car up. You got to be careful, and these guys realize that, so they're probably going to give somebody a little bit of a break early now instead of later on.
So Chris Buescher unable to get inside. Same with William Byron. There's turns 3 and 4. You see very little rubber down here in the early going.
Well, you see that early speed in Priest's car, Stuart Haas, and you can see Almirola looking to the inside of Suarez as well. It's going to be interesting if they can keep this speed for a long haul. Obviously have a ton of speed in these race cars for Stuart Haas Racing that they brought for these drivers this weekend, but I want to know how they look on lap 50.
Todd Gilliland and Chris Buescher side by side. Gilliland missed the top 10 by, 2/100ths of a second yesterday. He's able to keep Buescher to the outside, and Kyle Busch fills the opening on the bottom.
Yeah, and back to what you said, Clint, about the SHR cars. I mean, I think it could be 30 laps. You know, we could see them run like this for a while, but I think 25, 30 laps, we'll kind of see if the transition goes from a good qualifying setup to a good race setup.
And it's not saying that it will, right? I mean, it might just be, hey, you got fast cars, but there may be something to that. Maybe a little bit more rigid or something like that to really lay a fast lap time down. The key is forward drive. You have to be able to get off the corners, not upset those rear tires.
Door. Same thing down here.
Single file back to 17th, where Brad Keselowski cannot get in line, and Austin Dillon does him no favor. That'll get your heart rate up, lower left of your screen.
Well, what you try to do is exactly what Brad's doing. Get in a corner really deep, hold him down, pinch that exit off for the 3 car of Austin Dillon. If you could do that, maybe he gets loose, and there's your opportunity.
Yeah, if you could drive off the corner and get somebody where they can't feel like they used up all the racetrack, then maybe you can get in front of him. But if not, you're going to do like that, just settle in behind him.
Here we go.
Whoa, 3 wide.
It's pretty tight racing there. Oh, really tight.
Yeah. Well, wasn't much give there, was it?
No, Austin Cindric got the worst of that. Here's Burton and Chastain to his inside now. This isn't just casual contact, is it?
No, that was a little bit, maybe a little aggressive, and they kept going in turn 3. So now they're going to get straightened out. Maybe they won't see each other for a couple more laps.
And look what it did to him for the next corner. It was 3 wide getting in that corner, got knocked out of the way. Now he's 3 wide again, getting into 1. Lost 6, 7, 8 spots there pretty quick.
Tell you how difficult a pass it is here. Joey Logano's got a good car. He had to start in the back. He's passed 1 car since the start of this race, and now is on the inside of his Penske teammate, Austin Cindric.
Sorry, doesn't surprise me. No sun out right now. Track's got a lot of grip. Everybody's kind of gridlocked, bumper to bumper. As Bobby was talking about, the grip level starts to go away. You start losing the grip first off of the corner, spinning the tires. Then you'll start getting loose in. Then you start separating, positions there, and you can make some hay if your car's right. He's going to have to be patient. Really no place to go right now, so try to manage those tires to be good on the backside of a run.
I think the best thing he's doing is just following Ross Chastain. We talked to him earlier, and he knows he's got to be patient and to go out there. But Ross might not be, but if the leaders start coming around, the closer they get to the back, the more aggressive they're going to have to be to try to stay in front of them.
Starting to get some rubber laid down now. You can see right there on the right sides, both ends of the track. It'll keep building that up. And what that is, it just keeps slicker and slicker and slicker. Then you have to start straddling it, trying to get yourself a straight drive off.
We'll contact here as A.J. Allmendinger muscles his way past rookie Ty Gibbs.
you know, what I like to see is a little bit like, you know, they have to change your line a little bit to catch that, a little bit of that rubber that's being laid down. Maybe not like it used to be, like when they had a lot of marbles, but at the same time, looking down there, I see a few cars, you know, kind of spinning the right rear a little bit. So maybe that's a good sign that the grip's going to go away, and you'll have to manage that, manage your car a little bit better.
Alex Bowman moving forward. In the Hendrick media availability, a lot of the questions, of course, were for Chase Elliott, who is just back. And Alex Bowman quipped, you know, they didn't make a commercial for me when I came back. Well, that's okay.
Not the most popular driver.
But he did his talking on the racetrack and did it well. Bowman up in the top 20 now. Ryan Preece has run off and hid. He is 1.5 seconds ahead of Suarez. Only driver right now in the top 11 looking for his first Cup win. This was the site of his first modified Tour victory back in 2008. Ford Chevy Ford, the first Toyota Truex in 4th place. Ryan Preece started on pole and is running away from the field at Martinsville after 18 laps. Martinsville, Virginia, the center of Henry County and a longtime furniture and textile center. A lot of dressers, headboards, and sweatshirts have rolled out of this area to places around the world. In fact, the Ridgeway clock that is presented to every Martinsville race winner since 1964 used to be made in a factory just 2 miles down Old Sand Road south of the racetrack. Ryan Preece has led every lap. You could say stink up the show, but Daniel Suarez is starting to close. He's now within 1 second of the race leader. William Byron came in here as one of the favorites. He's now in 11th place.
I don't feel very good. I feel pretty tight center, but really loose off. 10-4. All right, get that thing slowed down on entry. I think that early downshift helps you a little.
He's been passed by his teammate Kyle Larson, who is up 7 spots. Ryan Blaney has gained 9. Here's an update from Jamie.
The 99 of Daniel Suarez, talked to him this morning. He said, we struggled for the last couple of years when we came here, but we had a test last August and we hit on something. They came back in the fall and finished 12th, so he felt really good about the package they brought here in the setup. And it showed in qualifying. Mike obviously qualified on the front row, and that's their best effort here and this season. Regan?
Joey Logano had to go to the rear after having a leak overnight that they found this morning. So far, though, struggling to move up the pack, only up to the 32nd position. This is exactly what Joey was worried about. He said that if we get down early, it is going to be extremely difficult today to make up time. That race car right now will not cut the center of the corner for him. The front tire is not working.
Well, he is less than half a straightaway from the race leader, closing in on him and Ross Chastain.
Yes, they are. They're coming fast. I tell you who else is coming fast is Suarez and Almirola to the back of Preece. Preece is having a lot of trouble in this lap traffic.
Yeah, he's definitely given up a little bit of grip, and the traffic's not helping him out. Of course, you know, they don't want to. The cars he's passing, they don't want to go a lap down. By the time they get to Daniel and Eric, they're probably going to give that up. So that doesn't help him a lot to make hay there.
Man, as soon as he broke free, got around that lap car, he really took back off, though, laying some fast lap times down still for Preece, 34 laps in.
And here's your biggest mover, Ryan Blaney, from 29th to 19th.
This is where it's going to start separating. Guys are going to start slipping, sliding around. You'll see some links of the chain starting to spread out a little bit, creating opportunities.
Well, I saw during the commercial break, Blaney was using the front bumper a little bit more than maybe some of these other guys, which has probably helped him move up. But what I'm really glad to see is the track widening out. You know, I mean, the rubber's laying down a little bit more than I anticipated, and looks like guys are running a little higher if they have to make some lap time.
Second and third place here. Almirola staying close on Daniel Suarez. They're a little more than a second behind Ryan Preece at the right edge of your screen. So Preece won his first career pole in the 9th race of the season. Last year, Cole Custer drove this number 41 for Stewart Haas and won his first career pole in the 9th weekend of the season. But when you have a driver like this that has not led a lot of laps in Cup, and you see him coming up in your mirror, yes, he's the leader, but do you race him differently than if it's a Chase Elliott or Kyle Larson coming up on you?
Yeah, I would think sometimes you might. I mean, there might be a little bit of that, but I think he's got a lot of respect out there.
I think it's a racetrack. You have to stay on it. You cannot give up positions on this racetrack. You go a lap down here, you're in big trouble. You can hold a guy off big time here, be a real thorn for them. Make that car as wide as possible. Even the fastest car. Pole's got around, Preece has trouble.
And he has now led more laps today than in his entire Cup career of a couple of years.
So, and I'm thinking about this too, about Ryan Preece. You know, obviously he's run a few Cup races now. He ran a few races last year, but you think about a lot of these other guys that he's racing against. For here, he's shifting, right? So that's something that he really wasn't used to. Obviously, he didn't have that much experience at it. So he's out there leading, doing a lot with that. So hats off to him, because he's not used to it as much, again, as some of these fast competitors he's got to race against.
Coming up on Ty Dillon in what has quickly become the world's fastest conveyor belt here at 41 laps.
Cool racetrack.
Love it. Yeah. Great neighborhood feeling coming in here. Look at all the campers and the folks that have come here to see some better short track racing than we saw here a year ago. This new package with the short spoiler, the reduced strakes, less downforce, hopefully will produce better racing today. This aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear, powering the race from green flag to checker and every mile in between. Goodyear, more driven. Ryan Preece trying to get past Ty Dillon, and that has brought Daniel Suarez to now within 0.7 of a second as we have a look at Denny Hamlin in ninth.
And we're looking at it for a reason. You see those cars getting bigger and out that windshield. Him and the 5, Kyle Larson, both laying some really good lap times down. Doesn't surprise me a bit have that speed, that long run speed out of Denny Hamlin. Always good here.
Fellas, one thing I'm not seeing that is characteristic of Martinsville, glowing red brake rotors, front rotors into the corner. It doesn't seem like they're developing as much brake heat as what we are used to seeing here.
Yeah, I mean, it's not nighttime yet. Is that the only reason why? I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, you're right. You would usually see that, and so they're using a lot of brake. We see the lap times, and they are going fast. So, but yeah, I don't know that. Obviously later on in the race, I'm sure we'll see it. But you're right. I'm surprised that we don't see any more brake heat than this.
Well, I think Larry told us yesterday that they actually changed the ductwork a little bit for this race from a year ago. A couple cars actually changed rotors, had some brake issues from qualifying and practice yesterday due to a little bit of overheat. That's something that NASCAR elects to let them do without a penalty of going to the back. 22 and a couple others were ones that did that, but it's not time yet. You start pushing this thing towards the end of the race, you're going to see those brakes starting to glow.
Yeah.
Starting to see front bumpers. Just saw Briscoe right here. You're following along, moving Truex out of the way. The reason he did that, sense of urgency, his teammate Kevin Harvick's telling him, you better go, boy. These cars are getting big in my mirror.
So that's a change at 5th place. Briscoe moving up puts 3 Stewart-Haas Mustangs into the top 5. Led by former modified champ Ryan Preece, who has led every one of 48 laps so far and is closing in on defending Cup champ Joey Logano to try and put the 22-1 lap down. We're underway. 48 of 400 laps complete at Martinsville. "55 laps complete, and here's a moment that is 26 years in the making. Race leader Ryan Preece to the inside of Joey Logano just as they race together as 6-year-olds on the Silver City Quarter Midget track in Meriden, Connecticut. Now, Logano's a two-time Cup champ. His path to the top was a lot quicker and smoother than Preece's, but, well, here they are, two old friends and adversaries going at it again for the lead at the highest level of stock car racing.
Kind of pinched Joey there. I thought Joey gave him a little bit more fight than that. He did. You know, you see Suarez and Almirola right there on his tail. He had kind of stretched the lead back out until he caught Logano, which doesn't surprise me a bit. And how about this? The next one up to bid is Ross Chastain. Don't see that very often. Logano and Chastain going on the lap down on the brink.
Yeah, that the story about those two right there with Preece and Logano about the quarter midget race, and I guarantee you, one's smiling and one's not.
Right.
They might be good friends, but one's not happy. But yeah, the 22 car, we talked a little bit about the 41 maybe losing a little bit of grip, but yet that 22 car really hadn't showed anything yet.
Joey Logano's finished top 10 the last 7 races here. He's off today.
I thought Joey would give him a little bit more fit than that, and I was just telling myself he may have to move him. I'm surprised he did it. He did. He moved him. That's what it's going to take.
So what about the next one, Ross Chastain?
You better be careful moving that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have heard that Chastain is the hardest driver to move on the racetrack.
Well,
from the drivers
because
that
he's usually
compete
doing
against
all
him
the
now.
moving.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay.
You got to catch him to move him.
So Martin Truex is backed up to 11th. Jamie?
Well, it was an interesting day yesterday for Martin Truex Jr. and the 19 team. They felt like they had something wrong with the car in practice. They thought they found it, made an adjustment, had a great qualifying effort. Driver was very happy, but right now they're just fighting for grip. No lateral grip for Martin Truex Jr., who continues to fall. He's back in 11th now.
Alex Bowman trying to break into the top 10. Now 19 laps to go in the stage. First stage is 80 laps. Next stage is 100. The final stage 120.
Got to be careful when you're attacking that, Bobby. Cars rolling out from underneath of you, lateral grip, rolling out from underneath of you, probably getting into the corner, rolling through the middle a little bit. Tighten that up too much, you have trouble getting off the corner. You drive a push into it and try to knock the wall down.
Yeah, I mean that's always a struggle, and you can see the 19 really fighting the wheel. And but you also know that you only got a few laps left in the stage. Hopefully you can make the right call when you do make a pit stop on the chassis adjustments and the air pressure and get it a little bit better. But you know, he shouldn't have to worry about going a lap down at least, so he don't need to do anything crazy.
Chastain with pretty good drive off here. It doesn't look like Preece really wants to press the issue too hard, and he's under no threat from behind from Suarez at the moment.
I'm a believer. This Preece is the real deal. That car is very fast. You know, the question was this thing going to fall off? We're 64 laps in, still the fastest car. You give him some track position, he'll just yard second and third place. As soon as he breaks free, he drives off from him. That car is fast.
Another one that's coming, Clint, is Tyler Reddick. Reddick up to 4th place. Last time around, he had the fastest lap time, he and Chase Briscoe. And there he is, right on the bumper of Almirola.
Look at his line. Drove in on the outside. Didn't work that time, slid up. But if he gets that thing rotated and drives off, that's how you cross them over. It's going to enter high. This car's loose. He's going to rotate here. He's going to get underneath Almirola.
Xfinity fastest lap of the race, Ryan Preece. That was back at lap 4. Tyler Reddick's quickest lap was lap 6. Almost everybody had their fastest lap so far within the first 10 laps of the race.
Clint, I think that Tyler really wants to go up there. I think he's trying to get that drive off. He's trying different things. You know, he's got a few laps left before the stage break, and he's catching those guys, and he's like, well, how can I pass them? You know, he's catching them, but how can I do it? Don't want to tear the front end up. So I think he goes in there. It looks like he turns down. I think he wants to try to get a straight shot off of it, try to get underneath him.
Well, he's putting the pressure on Eric, and all of a sudden Eric's putting the pressure on Suarez. Got in the back of Suarez a little bit, got him roughed up. This may be a 2-for-1 here opportunity for Reddick. Stays on the outside. See if he can get this thing rotated. Might be able to pass them both here if they get to playing around with each other. Here he goes, looks to the inside.
Nice.
Exactly what I was thinking was going to happen. Not clear. Eric drove that thing off in there.
He did, didn't he?
Almirola careful not to give him enough room on the inside to go 3 wide.
That's good racing.
All 4 Stewart-Haas cars in the top 5 at the moment. Their last top 5 finish here was Clint's win in 2018.
How do you feel about that, buddy?
feeling like I want to back out there. I love this racetrack. Love it. Such a challenge.
Christopher Bell is your point standing leader. The highest in points into the regular season makes the playoffs. And then everybody's seated in order of wins with ties broken by points. There's where we sit so far among the top 16. Reddick for third.
I think Reddick's got the car. He can go low, pass him. He runs up high. I think it, again, you know, shows me that the track is, you can move around a little bit, and he's still making speed. When the 19 car was falling back, he's going forward with it.
Larry Mack.
Yeah, I've been watching Tyler Reddick, and remember yesterday he ran 53 consecutive laps in that one practice session we had, and I'm seeing the same thing even when he was working over Suarez. He does not use a lot of brake. He lets the car really roll through the center of the corner. He doesn't stab the brakes. He just kind of own them casually, a lot less than most of the other drivers I'm watching.
We've seen a lot here at Martinsville where a driver would spend 8 or 10 laps trying to work a groove in up top, trying to lay some rubber down up there. It's a good place to pass when everything's working right, but not sure we're there yet.
You know, just like, you know, Larry was talking, and just like practice, he really rolls into 3 with a lot of speed. See how much more speed he carries into the corner than Almirola right in front of him. As they get into turn 3, he'll close that gap quite a bit. Arcs it up just a little bit, looks at diamond.
He's probably
that 10 car is pretty sporty.
Here's the SMT data that the teams look at.
And I'm looking at that steering data. Watch this one right here. That kind of shows who's tight, who's loose, freeness of that race car.
And they have this data in real time on the pit box back at the War Room, and we get to occasionally share it with you. Kevin Harvick moving on his teammate Chase Briscoe for a top 5 spot here with 4 to go in the stage. Stewart's Haas has 4 stage wins since the start of the 2021 season. Just 4.
These cars are sporty. They came to play this weekend. Going to have to make sure that we take care of business on pit road. Spots are hard to come by out here on this racetrack. Cannot afford to give them up on pit road. No mistakes. Solid stops is all I need.
Preece and Almirola about 1 second apart, first and second. And Ross Chastain still able to hang on to the lead lap here as lap times have slowed into the 2160 range.
It's going to be big if Ross can hold on. You know, I think that, you know, obviously that'll give Logano the free pass, but yet at the same time, I mean, you know, you don't want to be, you want to be able to get on pit road and get out that way without, you know, maybe beat some cars out instead of having to get a free pass.
Did you see how much better Preece's car rotates that 5/8 mark? He can get to the throttle car. That means the car's rotated and ready to get back on the throttle much sooner than Chastain was. He's touched the wall a little bit.
Has his first ever stage win in the NASCAR Cup Series.
Good way to bounce back from a bad, frustrating last weekend in Bristol.
Yeah, sure is. Ryan Preece from Berlin, Connecticut led every single lap of stage 1. Stage 1 in the books. Time for our Credit One Bank ones to watch. Who you got your eye on?
That 41 ball, Ryan Preece, man, first stage win. Awesome job for them, but I'm watching his pit crew. I want to make sure that those pit crew can answer this call. That boy's putting some pressure on those guys today.
I'm going to go with Kevin Harvick. I mean, I'm thinking the closer. You know, the Stewart Haas has definitely got some speed. He's in 6th place right now before the pit stop. He's going to hang out there. I think he's going to be the one to watch at the end because he always is.
I'm watching Team Hendrick, Larson, Byron, Bowman, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Yes, I took more than one, Clinton. You can talk about a driver or a team or anybody you want. And, you know, it's only the end of stage 1. We got a long way to go as they keep rising toward the top. Jamie and Larry, who are you watching?
Yeah, Mike, I'm watching Ryan Blaney. Started 31st. He has made his way to 13th without the aid of a caution. Always runs well here. Top 5 in both races last year.
Yeah, I'm going to watch Martin Truex Jr. Started 5th, fell back to 14th and then that stage, but he's won 3 of the last 7. He knows how to get his car good when it counts.
And that's your Credit One Bank ones, plural, to watch. Regan.
Mike, the 10 car of Eric Almirola on pit road right now after a good start to the race for him. Too loose in the center, needs a little drive off, but told the team, do not get me too tight through the middle of the corner. The 45 of Tyler Reddick, that car was getting looser as the run went on, getting into the corner. Needs a little help at the 2/3 mark of the corner. Jamie?
Daniel Suarez in the 99 lost 2 spots on track. Got a little bit tight, but really loose entry, really loose on exit. They're going to try to fix that up. Ryan Preece led all the laps so far today, more than any of the laps combined in his career. Car's pretty good. He said turning through the middle is their strong suit. Good stop by the pit crew, Mike.
Boy, he jumped right out there. There's your race off pit road sponsored by Ram, and Preece held station over Suarez, Almirola, and Reddick.
Good job, boys.
Yeah.
Stage 1 complete. Ryan Preece has led every lap so far. Coming up next, USFL kickoff weekend continues. The Pittsburgh Maulers open their season against the New Orleans Breakers next on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Let's take a closer look at brake temps at Martinsville with Larry Mack and the Toyota Cutaway car.
Mike, anytime we go short track racing at Martinsville, that little half-mile track, a big talk is about the brakes of the race car. So let's go inside our Toyota Tech Center and take a look at our Toyota Cutaway car and look at some of the temperatures the brake components will be seeing today. When you look at the brake caliper itself, 300 degrees Fahrenheit. The rotor, 1,400 degrees, and where the pad meets the rotor, 1,700 degrees. Now, the big concern, Mike, is that 1,400 degrees with the rotor. That's why today NASCAR is letting the teams pump a little more air to the center of the rotor to try to keep that temperature down just a little bit.
Thanks, Larry. So far, so good. As we get ready for stage 2, with Ryan Preece holding the lead after his first pit stop of the day, but almost a calamity there before pit road had opened. Preece apparently misunderstood the signal as to whether he should pit or not, and almost came to pit road a lap before it opened up. We listened in.
Just listen to me. I'll always let you know if it's open or closed there. So I was seeing the red light was obviously on. Yeah, no, I get it. It was just confusing me. I'm like, are we open? Are we closed? Yeah, it wasn't just you. They were confused behind you as well.
He almost dragged a whole bunch of cars down pit road with him.
Yeah, I mean, he's leading a lot of this race, first time out there like this. I mean, you might think that pit road is open, wasn't sure yet, and luckily it didn't affect him.
Well, if all 4 tires would have been under that box, it had affected him.
All right, Preece has chosen the inside on Daniel Suarez. They're going to restart just like they did 90 laps ago for stage 2. Green flag.
Clear by 2, side by side your mirror.
Still double wide. Yeah, and all the way through the field double wide, but everybody being very respectful for now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously starting off stage 2, and got new tires on it too. So you think right now you want to make as many passes as you can. So I'd say they're being cautiously aggressive. But Ryan Preece got a heck of a start.
It's just like qualifying showed. Those Stewart-Haas cars are extremely good on a short run. Eric Almirola knew that, took advantage of that, got around Suarez, joining his team up front. His teammate, excuse me.
Joey Logano was the first car 1 lap down at the end of the stage, so he is back on the lead lap with the free pass.
Three then, 1 Dyson behind.
Pretty dicey racing here with Blaney, Austin Dillon, and Ty Gibbs. They were bouncing off one another off the floor last lap. Finally get it sorted out here.
That's for 15th.
You can kind of ride 2 by 2, do some racing there for 2 or 3 laps. But if you get hung on the outside, like I see Briscoe right now, he's going to need to get that sorted out. They'll start freight training him on the bottom. Connected that link, and you won't be able to get in.
Yeah, and you know what? Like Brad, he doesn't want to give up a spot to let him get back in.
3 penalties on that round of pit stop. Zane Smith speeding, exiting. Kyle Busch and Chris Buescher had equipment interference, and both had to restart at the rear. Tenth place on the right. Truex and Briscoe. Chase Elliott, 28th. He's dropped 2 since the restart.
Yeah, I just kind of mired back in traffic with Chase. I really thought that, he had better speed than this in yesterday's practice for sure. I think you get that car some track position somehow, some way. If a caution, untimely caution comes out, opens up an opportunity for some strategy. You might just see some of these back, teams running in the back reverse that.
Now Eric Almirola got around Daniel Suarez to move up to second. However,
Shaking. We're ready for you. We're ready for you if you got to come to us. We're trying to find out. We're unsure. What do you mean you're unsure? The tire changer shrugged his shoulder. He didn't know.
didn't know if he got the lug nut tight or not.
Well,
that's what they're trying to work through in the number 10 pits. Regan.
Like just a couple of seconds ago, they finally came back on the radio and told Eric they think that they are good. So a little bit of question mark here if that lug nut is loose or not right now.
Well, the thing is, it could have been tight to the wheel, but if the wheel was not tight to the hub, that can produce a problem later.
You're right, but I would think if that's the case, Mike, it would be violent. You would even get it up to speed, and you would you'd be coming back down pit road under caution.
Well, there's something going on because he obviously had it in his voice that he was definitely, concerned about it. I guess my concern would it be the right front or the left front? I mean, left front might not be quite so critical, but right front balance would be bad.
Sometimes a brake shake, is a thing here, but he would know that and what he's feeling different.
Kevin Harvick launched in the top 5, and that's where he sits, 4th place, Jamie.
Mike, if you look at the lap-by-lap comparisons yesterday, Kevin Harvick in the 14 was about the best with fall-off. They were really happy with it. As for today, he said he started getting loose as the run went on, bit worse than yesterday, so they made a wedge adjustment, put those 4 tires on it, and he's up to 4th now.
Yeah, looks like, Kevin is pretty solid there. I mean, he's out there making laps. Again, early in the race, I think Kevin sees that lap 400 is where he's going to get to. And, he's trying to feel his car out, make sure he gets it right. But car looks pretty smooth right there. I know he's smooth on the throttle and doesn't have a lot of movement in his hands.
Leading laps pays how much?
Yeah, right. I know. You're right. Exactly. That's what I think Kevin Harvick. I was like, you know what? He knows which lap pays the most.
That's right. Almirola within half a second of Ryan Preece now, with Suarez 3rd. And here's one of the questions in Clint's Super 6 game. How'd you answer this one? Which of these drivers will have the better running position at the end of stage 2, and by how many positions between Blaney and Logano?
That's the tough one. The second part of that question is going to be extremely hard by how many positions, and I'd never guess it's as much as it is right now, but you never know. A lot can happen here.
Right now they are 15 spots apart, as Logano just got the free pass at the end of stage 1, which went caution free. Stenhouse Gibbs.
Keep an eye on that one. That is 2 very aggressive drivers with a no-quit attitude.
I don't think Ty's going to give him a lot. He don't want to be behind him, so.
And exactly the same conversation in the other car.
Well, we used to call it trading paint, just like we used to call the bumper the chrome horn. What do we call it now? Wrinkling the wrap? I don't know. It's
pull
just,
the decals off of one another.
Yeah.
Finally got it sorted out. Gibbs is the winner.
Inside.
It got sorted out for the moment.
Mark's in rhythm here. Don't overdrive your entry.
110 laps in, caution free, except for the stage break. And Ryan Preece for Stewart-Haas Racing has led every single lap so far. just got to have one. Brad Hutton, one of our pit cameramen, just hustled over there to grab one.
You can't just have one of those.
No, and they are good. And they are nuclear red inside. I mean, they're unique. It's the Martinsville hot dog. There's Brad, hard at work, shooting the concession stand and getting a hot dog to boot.
And $2.
Yeah, $2.
$2.
That's a deal.
That's a heck of a deal.
And they're being
That's
enjoyed
awesome.
all around the place today, except up here in the broadcast booth. 121 laps complete. Ryan Preece, Eric Almirola, Daniel Suarez, Kevin Harvick, and Alex Bowman has made his way up into the top 5. Let's get an update on one of his Hendrick teammates, Regan.
Mike Chase Elliott, of course, making his return this weekend, but not going quite the way that he wants to right now. He slipped back to the 28th position, struggling with the rear of that race car. Just said it feels way too stiff to him. Can't get the car to do what he wants in the corners because of that. Feels like it's up in the air and stiff all the way through the corners right now.
Well, can't say the same for his teammate Bowman, who has been flying his way up through the field. Passed Hamlin a few laps ago to move into the top 5. And last time around had the fastest lap on the track.
He's a tenth and a half faster a lap than these first 3 cars. Extremely fast, Jamie.
Yeah, and yesterday that wasn't the case for Alex Bowman. He started 23rd. He practiced about the same. But the good news for him, Blake Harris, the man on the left, his crew chief, back on the box. They have a great chemistry together. They just started working together this year, but they've been adjusting on this race car before the race and that last stop. They made an air pressure adjustment. So he's coming through the pack and doing well. And Mike, remember, he was out with a concussion in the fall race here, so he didn't have this tire. They're just learning on the fly, and it's paying off so far.
Well, lessons well learned and applied.
Good timing, too, because he's catching these leaders as they're catching the lappers. Going to have more trouble in those lappers. That Bowman's one of the only cars that can make passes, quality passes, that is, on fast cars. He went around Denny Hamlin like he was tied to a tree.
Preece putting J.J. Lealy a second lap down. Zane Smith the next car ahead. And there's Bowman coming into the picture.
Low and straight. That baby's really rotating good around the corner, enabling him to get off around that corner. Straight drive up off, very low, tight to the curb, straight drives. A lot of speed.
And I would think you gotta believe that the change that they made is probably going to relay to the other 3 Hendrick cars. You know, as far as the next adjustment, maybe if they are fighting the same thing, tried something, because he's definitely the quickest Hendrick car out there.
Exactly what I was thinking, Bobby. If I was, Larson or Byron, I promise you're hearing chatter on their radios. Hey, what's that 48 got?
Yeah, what does he got?
Something woke that baby up.
Yeah.
Lap 180 will be the end of stage 2. Now Zane Smith is on the lead lap in the 51, trying to keep from going 1 down. Then Anthony Alfredo and Ty Dillon ahead, who are already 1 down ahead of the leaders. Ryan Blaney, it seems, takes off, makes up a lot of spots, and then plateaus. In stage 1, he's kind of stopped moving forward at 13th place. Here he is at 15th after restarting 13th at the end of stage 1.
Same shift in there. It just doesn't take much effort at all with these new cars and the way they shift. It was a big deal at first, thinking, man, they're shifting out there. But as you can see, it doesn't take much effort to make those shifts.
Yeah, that's I guess the next thing is a paddle shift to make it a little bit easier. But
pretty smooth with the wheel, Bobby.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why he didn't have the speed that he had earlier, but he also didn't have that till later in the run as well. So they might have went wrong on his adjustment as we see the 48 go by the 4 car for position. So that's, to your point, fast.
Alex Bowman up to 4th. I guess with the shifting now, 4 times a lap, you could almost refer to this as a road course with all left turns.
Guys, I'm looking at my lap time graph here, and it's unbelievable. All the rest of the cars, I got 5 or 6
Turn
cars.
2. Harrison Burton goes around, and that will put us under the first caution for cause of the day. Lap 133.
There's 5 or 6 cars on this graph that are all on top of one another, and the 48 in blue is an inch below everybody. Pretty impressive.
I believe that was just a single car spin. Didn't see any contact. It is the second caution of the day. Ooh, I didn't see Eric Jones. Oh, the 43 and the 21. They have a history here. Pit road is busy. Regan.
Mike Eric Almirola liked his race car better this run than the first. Said he thought it was going to be a better long run car. And Denny Hamlin in the 11 was too tight for the short run. Lots of left front lockup. Jamie?
Daniel Suarez, he's hanging in there. Top 3 fired off tighter than before, but freed up as it went on. The 41 of Ryan Preece tightened me up for takeoff. And he needs a little bit better rotation through the corner. Let's see. They did their job again, guys.
Oh, that's going to be close. Coming off pit road, they were 3 abreast. And we'll have to see it at the line.
2 tires on Gilliland.
There's the race off pit road. Wow. A lot of those Chase Elliott fans happy to see him back and wearing their colors. Well, the speeding police at Martinsville, the timing is all electronic, nothing subjective about it. Welcome back to the NOCO 400 on FS1, presented by Mother's Polishes. And the speeding police have nabbed the 23, the 19, and the race leader, the 41. Got a little too quick of a jump out of that last pit stall to try to beat everybody to the line.
Dang it.
Yeah. Well, that's not good, but it's going to be exciting for us.
Well, I saw it. You know, he did. Those guys were side by side, and man, that thing launched out of that box in a big way.
Yeah.
But the one I like, how about Chastain? Let's shake things up. Stayed out from 25th. I think you can net gain there. I don't mind that. I don't think you're going to fall clear back to 25th.
I don't know. I might have to. I'm not going to argue that, but I'm going to say it might be a little bit.
Sounds like it.
It looks good on paper right now, but we'll see if they get a long run. You know, I mean, we could see that give up some.
Listened in on Ryan Preece and company.
We were talking in the trailer, and he says, do you think we can just go hard out of our pit box? Which me and Scotty both was under the assumption we felt like we could, but we're not really the number 1 box. We're kind of the number 2 box, you know?
Well, that's exactly right,
yeah.
too. Look at the number 1 box right in front of him, and that's the difference, because I thought you could, out of that number 1 box, floor it, go as fast as you want, all the way out. Difference is, just like he said, that ain't the number 1 box anymore. Major bummer.
Yeah.
So Preece will restart in the rear along with Bubba Wallace and Martin Truex. Saturday on Fox, some of baseball's best show out in an early season showdown. Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor lead the Mets against Brandon Crawford and the Giants, or you'll see the White Sox battle the dominating Rays. All begins Saturday at 4 Eastern on Fox. 32 lead lap cars for this restart. Zane Smith got the free pass on this caution. This they just ran the first lap today that Ryan Preece has not led, as he is under penalty for speeding exiting his pit.
Well, major bummer for Ryan Preece, but for a fan, I'm curious to see how he can get up through the field. Obviously, the fastest car, set on a pole, led all the laps. I want to see if he can pass, because some of these other guys have had a lot of trouble back there.
Yeah, it's not even halfway yet. You know, we saw the 48 car was able to pass, so, you know, that was good too.
Jamie?
Well, in the 24, William Byron had issues on pit road as well. The right front, they realized it wasn't tight, so they had to hit it a second time and fell back. A frustrated Byron on the radio said, we need to get it together. He'll restart here back in 19.
You knew it was going to be, you know, you hear Larry talk about pit road speeding penalties and all this stuff. It's because the emphasis is there. These spots are hard to come by on the racetrack. A lot easier on pit road if you can hit all your marks.
Todd Gilliland will restart third. They took only 2 tires on, or excuse me, start fifth. 2 tires on that pit stop. Here we come to the Geico restart zone. Teammates on the front row. Good getaway for Chastain on those older tires. Almirola wants to force the issue and does.
Wow.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Coming through. Oh, Larson's in the side of Harvick as well. Larson got under him and got into. You see Kevin not very happy about it.
Yeah.
Moved over and blocked. I think Larson elected to back out of that one.
Suarez drops in third, and he gives Almirola a shot back.
Saw that one coming.
Wow. Sailed it off into turn 3. Oh my gosh.
Still inside, middle.
Carried him up the racetrack.
Yeah.
Todd Gilliland capitalizes on the inside, 3 wide to turn 1. And they're going to make it.
That would frustrate me. I agree with Almirola. It's okay to get into me a little bit, whatever, moving. That stuff happens. You move me up so far that we get past, both of us get passed by a car. That's too far.
Denny Hamlin just made a 3 wide pass in the second pack to clear that group, as we still have great action up here for 4th place.
About these no tires and 2 tires, Larry, huh?
Yeah, with 40 laps on the tires, Clint, I did not think that was going to work that well, but so far it's working good. And remember, it's a short run to the end of this stage. When they took the green flag, only 38 laps to end stage 2.
Look at this. Ryan Blaney missed turn 3, went way up the racetrack. That set up a 3 wide situation. Now he's trying to recover against Stenhouse.
And they're 2 by 2 by 2 all the way back through the field from him on back. Sense of urgency's definitely picking up. Preece cleaning up something. He's only moved up 1 spot so far. Not able to go anywhere. Pretty much a gridlock in front of him.
Tyler Reddick breaks away from Larson. That will be for 7th place. And here's Hamlin inside of Bowman for 9th.
This is going to change Chastain's day. All these teams who will be paying attention, but that was a bold move and it's going to pay off. There's no way they go clear back to 25th with 30 laps to go in a stage. My bet is he wins.
Bit of the bump and run from Suarez to Almirola, who would get it right back 1 lap later. Almirola running out of racetrack. And then there's what happened to Blaney. That's how he missed that corner. He got quite a bump from McDowell, setting up the 3 wide.
I'm thinking you may have saw something. Roles reverse in a corner prior to that.
Right, yeah, something happened before that. Oh, boom.
Larry tells us a lap before, Blaney had drop kicked McDowell going into turn 1.
Exactly.
So, there you go.
I like the aggressiveness picking up.
Picking up, for sure.
So Almirola, after all is done, ends up in 7th place, maybe 8th.
Only half Daniel's fault. His spotter tells him he's in there, be aggressive and block it every time in the 3 on restart. Yeah, his spotter used to think he was a driver. He's not.
Oh boy.
Frustration. It's usually on the one that loses on the losing end of those things.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Clint, I'm going to have to apologize. That one car is hanging out better than I thought he would. I was like, nah, those 40-lap tires are not going to do it, but prove me wrong.
Well, I think it hinted to this, and nobody can go anywhere in the back.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Priest back there. It's past 1, maybe 2 cars. Anybody that's been back there. Chastain, that car right there was on the brink of going a lap down in the first stage.
Action all around this half mile, as so far in the first half of this race, track position has trumped tires, and now the sun is out full. If there is rain, it is pretty off in the distance. We've got full sunshine for drivers and crew chiefs to deal with now.
I don't see any rain in my future here. So
Good.
We're looking at a lot of sunshine out this window.
And I think it's changing these cars around a lot. You know, the 48 car that was extremely fast, not so much, just got passed by Brad Keselowski. Suarez, same thing. Even Almirola, that car's not as good as it was when the sun was not out and we're under cloud cover. This track has definitely gotten slicker, and some of those guys have lost their handling on their cars.
I think that's kind of good, though, don't you think?
Well,
I mean, you know, that they're trying to keep up with the racetrack.
Car it is.
Well, yeah, but you know, you're trying to keep up with the racetrack, and you got to really be. It's not going to be just consistent all race long. So maybe with this change, you're going to see people that are going to make some good adjustments, and if they do, they're going to go forward. If not, they're really going to struggle.
What I think you're going to see more of, well, I mean, it's obvious, is you're going to see more people gambling on strategy. That's paying off in a big way. No tires and 2 tires leading this field.
Denny Hamlin is the man on the move.
Yeah.
A lap and a half. He passed Tyler Reddick to the inside. He just dove underneath Daniel Suarez.
As
Hamlin is up
Keselowski
in the top 5.
Sorry.
It's okay. Ross Chastain had never led at Martinsville before today. He's been out front now for the last 24 laps as we take you Fox side by side. .15 laps to go in stage 2. Here's an update on the Coca-Cola Racing family of drivers. Denny Hamlin keeps slicing his way forward. He's up to 4th. Daniel Suarez in the top 10. Austin Dillon, Chase Elliott on the lead lap. And for the lead, Ross Chastain, who did not stop on that last caution, about to lose the lead to Kevin Harvick, who did.
There's your guy, Bobby.
Right here, clear. Take it all the way.
His teammate's going to follow suit right on him. Briscoe's really impressive. Those cars woke up in this sun.
Now, the other driver on a different strategy was Todd Gilliland. He was second for much of this run. He's fallen to sixth. Two of his 4 Cup top 10s have come here in the last 3 races. Former truck winner here. All right, Briscoe trying to take advantage with Hamlin looking on, and then Reddick.
Yeah, I think Ross is going to have to give up some spots here, don't you think? Just try to maintain at least a good position. Doesn't need to try too hard here.
He's got a good gap behind Reddick. Obviously, Hamlin's going to be by him, and then Reddick, and a big gap before that 2-tire Gilliland. And man, Keselowski, he's really coming on strong.
Now there's Gilliland to the outside of Keselowski, also on that alternate strategy, though he did get 2 tires on the last stop, where almost everybody else got 4.
Still possible, man. That one's going to come back to you really quick.
Chastain's dropped to 5th now, has a gap to Keselowski and Gilliland. Now, of the drivers that restarted in back, remember 32 cars are on the lead lap. Martin Truex, after his penalty, up only 1 spot. Chris Buescher up 2. Bubba Wallace up 2. And Ryan Preece up about 6 positions from where he restarted. Still a long way from the front for those drivers.
Yeah, Preece, you know, talking about him, he's having to completely change his driving line. Everything he's done is braking. You're having to drive it off in the corner harder, abuse the car more. It's such a different way of driving when you're mired back there in traffic and having to manage traffic, trying to get up through them. Making good progress, though.
Well, as a driver, and you know you have a fast race car, but you haven't had to pass anybody all day. You got to really think about how to take care of it, you know, and how not to go out there and be, you know, pace yourself to the point where you can, you know, make the next adjustment, hopefully get some pit strategy or pit stop will be better, and you can gain a couple spots here and there, but don't go out there and blow it too soon.
Bobby, I'm a little bit surprised with the Hendrick camp. They shined a lot more yesterday. I mean, obviously we were talking about Bowman this last run, but they shined yesterday in practice. I thought they were going to be the camp to beat, whether it be the 24 or even that 9, maybe the 5. Bowman, the one that I didn't mention, I didn't think was a factor yesterday, is the best car.
Yeah, and you think about practice yesterday, looking at it, was William Byron was the fastest in the long run, and today he's not. So, yeah, what happened? You know, what happened overnight to make that difference?
5 laps to go in stage 2. Kevin Harvick leading at Martinsville for the first time since 2016. Jamie?
And I talked to his team this morning, and they said, we brought a different setup from our teammates here, and we have seen a happy Harvick. Happiest he's been at Martinsville in quite some time. They made some nice adjustments today, just building a little bit free. But guys, the sun is out, the track's getting slicker, and that plays right into Harvick's hands.
It also plays into that 11 car, Denny Hamlin. This is right in his wheelhouse. Managing grip, taking care of those tires. Screams Denny Hamlin. Got him written all over it, and look, he's running him down a little bit. Getting to the bumper, second place, Chase Briscoe.
3 to go in the stage. Harvick half a second up on Briscoe. That's a 1-2 for Stewart Haas. Toyota's 3-4, Hamlin and Reddick. Keselowski's forward in 5th. The first Chevy is Chastain in 6th. And that gamble of not stopping is going to pay off very well. Kyle Larson now first to the Hendrick Chevys in 10th with Bowman 11th as they chase down Almirola.
You don't think them crew chiefs are saying when we pit, do not speed? We see what happens when they get stuck in the back. There's no way to get back up there.
Is the juice worth the squeeze, buddy? Have to not beat yourself in conditions like this at racetracks. Hard to pass on. Do not beat yourself.
For the first time since 2020, Kevin Harvick is a Cup Stage winner.
Wow.
From Briscoe.
Pretty hard to believe.
Hamlin, Reddick, and Keselowski. Kevin Harvick first across the line.
Hey there, Shannon and Jamie inside the race day studios. Listen, Stewart-Haas Racing has come to play today, sweeping both of the stages. But usually when we come to Martinsville, we're talking about Hendrick Motorsports. They just have one driver in the top 10. What are you seeing out of that?
Yeah, I mean, Hendrick has won 27 races at this track. We talked about it in the pre-race show. And William Byron was the story yesterday. Had the best, fastest lap, has 10-lap average, 5-lap average, but just has not been able to make up ground. But the weather has changed. We talked about the sun coming out. Track's going to get slick. We'll see what they can do now.
Pit stop's coming up. Your advice?
Don't beat yourself. don't speed to gain one spot and lose like we saw Ryan Preece do earlier.
Absolutely, Mike. That's been a very busy place and certainly changed some of this racing.
Sure has, Shannon. As we're at the end of stage 2, this race is now official. We have crossed through 2 stages. And here are the stage points earned today. Harvick, Briscoe, and Reddick, each with 15 through the 2 stages.
Look at Chastain.
Pit road will open this time.
No chance he'd have had those stage points without that gamble. Paid off for them boys. 25th, 6th.
Kevin Harvick leads them onto pit road. 31 lead lap cars. Harrison Burton will get the free pass after stops are complete. Regan?
Mike, some very good changes for the 11 of Denny Hamlin. Love the forward drive off the corner of the race car. That run just a little too tight at the 2/3 mark. And watch the exit here. Spotter Chris Lambert is going to call him out of the box as they expect the 22 to come around. And the 14 of Chase Briscoe just wants to be tightened up a little bit. He's slipping and sliding in the sun. Jamie?
First stage win of the year for Kevin Harvick. He said he wants a little bit more of that same adjustment. Really good center and off. The 6 of Brad Keselowski, really good run there. Just needs to gain some stability without losing the turn for the 6.
There's your race off pit road, sponsored by Ram. Chase Briscoe out ahead of Kevin Harvick. Keselowski, Hamlin, Almirola. With everybody stopping for 4 and a big log jam at the exit of pit road.
Let's see if Harvick will answer. Hey, Happy Harvick, it's Boyer up in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Man, the old hot rod's pretty fast. Came to play today, huh?
Yeah, they've done a nice job. Obviously, this isn't my favorite place, but the car's driving good. We just have to keep the track position and stay in a rhythm in here. We've been fighting loose, so we've been trying to get that a little bit better. It was better that session. I just got to fend them off for the first 25 laps there, a little better in the corner. Then it starts to come around. So happy to show these Real Tree and Hunt Brothers Pizza colors, and we'll keep digging, man.
All right, buddy. Good luck. Thanks for your time.
Yes, sir.
Kevin Harvick is your Stage 2 winner as we get ready for the final stage of this 400 lapper at Martinsville. Welcome back to the NOCO 400 on FS1. Grandpa, now that's a theme here at Martinsville. There's the grandfather clock that will be presented to today's winning driver and duplicate to the winning car owner. And our director is a grandpa. Congratulations, Reams Michael Kempner. Born April 11th, mom and baby, and of course dad, and grandpa. All doing well. Artie's been handing out Martinsville hot dogs to everybody this weekend.
All right.
Yeah.
Congrats, Artie.
Nice.
I want to say, I'm sorry, there's more to this, and we'll find out. But those guys, those kids that were pushing this clock, they actually built that clock in their class. We were out there doing the pre-race, and they walked by and told us that. I'll find out what school and what class that was. But that's actually, those kids that were pushing it, built it. Somebody's taking it home today.
The Ridgeway clock has been a tradition of Martinsville since Fred Lorenzen won the first one in 1964.
Did you know that, Bobby?
No, I did not know that. See,
my man does.
Man, see, I'm learning so much. I'm just glad that you guys kept me, because last time I did this, I only got one stage in. And y'all get rid of it.
Hey, have a good look at that pace car, because that's your first look at the 2024 Ford Mustang that paces the field here.
I drove
all brand new V8. That's right, you've driven it.
Drove it Thursday, as a matter of fact. Pretty cool.
How about that?
I mean, the actor turned race car driver, Frankie Muniz.
Well, Chase Briscoe, whose pit crew just ripped off a 9.9 second stop, has the lead over teammate Kevin Harvick. Here's some Harvick audio.
Don't want to do it. You don't want to do it? He does not want to do the teammate restart, no. All right, where do you think? I think bottom. That's my choice.
The teammate restart would be where the driver on the inside lets the outside driver go ahead and drop down to the bottom. Well, this should get interesting as they head for the Geico restart zone.
On you, still out quarter, all clear, all clear.
I'd say that worked out anyway. Would you? I mean, for sure. Obviously, I think Kevin was thinking on the inside you're going to maybe get a little advantage being down there, maybe off of turn 2. And it obviously looked like Brad didn't get the start he wanted, so worked out for Kevin.
Back under cloud cover. I think it's important to keep this up. See, I think it definitely plays in favor of, one car or the other.
Now, NASCAR has wet weather tires if needed. They used them Friday night here in the truck race for the first time in one of their National Touring Series on an oval track. Had a pretty good result with them.
So here's the deal, and I want to stay on that for 2 seconds here while we're watching the races. NASCAR finally, in our competition meeting with NASCAR, Bobby, called them wet weather tires. They didn't call them rain tires. And I think that's important to as we continue to develop and sell that as a pitch to our fans. Don't lose track and think that they're going to run in the rain. We've learned that lesson. In the wet, we can run.
Yeah, it's not, it goes back to, I think it's real, it's like we're not going to run in the rain, but we'll run on a wet track. So if it's not raining, and we saw this. I was here and I was like, man, they're racing in it. But they were drying the track, racing in it, but it had stopped raining. So it was just to help dry it and get some laps in.
And those good years will get you back to green flag racing sooner than if you have to wait until the entire track is dry to put on slicks.
They put on a good show with them. I think it's interesting. I like watching them. Coda was probably too much thinking back on that race, but I ran in wet weather at the Roval and Charlotte and loved it. Had a blast out there on them. Learned a lot.
Ryan Blaney back on the attack. 13th is close to the highest he's run for most of this race. Battling with Alex Bowman ahead and Corey LaJoie right behind. Ty Gibbs in 15th, right behind LaJoie, ahead of Allmendinger.
1-1.
Back up front, Briscoe and Harvick just a quarter second apart.
And 11 right on the bumper of Harvick. We talked about Stuart Haas. 11 is slowly but surely creeping into this picture. Just keeps getting that car faster and faster. That's the Denny Hamlin that we expect at Martinsville.
All clear.
Hamlin owns 5 grandfather clocks for Martinsville.
He shouldn't be late anywhere. He knows what time it is all the time, right? In every part of his house.
Pretty funny you say that, because anytime I ever did an appearance with Denny, he was always late.
Okay, well maybe like Jeff Gordon's got like 11 or 12, so maybe he's never late.
5 wins for Hamlin in his first 19 starts here, but none in his most recent 15 Martinsville races. And look at this shoot.
Well,
0 top 5s in the first 8 races this year.
I read that he said on his podcast, he called a shot. Said we're going to get on a roll with this 11 car, and it's going to start right here this weekend at Martinsville. Might just happen.
Clint, I think of Denny. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Byron's out there, watching him go through the corner.
18th.
Yeah, I mean, not as good. Yesterday we talked about that earlier about how the 24 car was so fast. And again, I was like, what happened overnight? Has the track changed that much, or did they make a small adjustment, think it'd be better, or did other people make better adjustments? So, it's got to be frustrating for that team knowing they had a fast car yesterday.
How about it, Jamie? Yesterday we all thought Byron was the car to beat here.
Yeah, Mike, and the car hasn't been terrible. He didn't have track position to start, but they've had not 1, but 2 slow stops. Had another issue when he came in. He was nosed in. They tried to get the right rear wedge adjustment, and he had to stall it, back it up, and get it again. So another slow stop for him.
That's how. I think the difference from yesterday to today is track position. I mean, look at the difference it made with Chastain on old tires, for crying out loud. 25th place, couldn't go anywhere, almost went a lap down. Last car in the lead lap in the first stage and led the last, half of that stage before getting passed by Harvick at the end.
Look, now the track has gone half and half. Turns 3 and 4 in shade, turns 1 and 2 in sunshine.
That's that kind of makes it tough on what to do. But thinking about like Denny Hamlin, knowing the racetrack and knowing your race car and what you want here. He didn't win 5 grandfather clocks, just falling into it. So I can see him making those small adjustments and getting better as the race goes on.
Bubba Wallace and Kyle Busch still trying to overcome penalties, as is Ryan Preece. None of them are back up into the top 20 yet. 20th is Chase Elliott right now.
I was just looking at that too, Mike, and you're not going to overcome that. You're not going to do it on that racetrack. You're going to have to do it where it came from, in the pits or strategy calls, something. It's going to be over there, not on the racetrack, not from that far back.
There, he struggles up off.
.192 laps to go as some darker clouds start building to the southwest. And before they get here, let's have Larry give us a look at today's right combination.
Well, Mike, let's take a look at Denny Hamlin and crew chief Chris Gabehart. This is their 5th season together. They have 16 wins, including 2 Daytona 500s. They've made the championship 3 out of 4 years. They even won an Xfinity Series race together back in 2017. All these numbers together could lead to Denny getting his 6th Martinsville win. And not only their first win of the year, but maybe even their first top 5. Maybe the subway right combination to get there today.
Hamlin right now 3rd, 1 second back, Larry, with Harvick in between Denny Hamlin and leader Chase Briscoe. And there you're looking back from the Hunt Brothers Pizza Camp at Hamlin. 190 laps to go in Martinsville, Virginia. NASCAR's best, chasing the clock, the Ridgeway clock. That goes to the winner here at Martinsville in the NOCO 400. NOCO, originally a contraction of no corrosion. They've been in the battery business for a century, and they make great battery chargers and jump packs and batteries. Great products. They're sponsoring today's race. With 180 to go, Chase Briscoe out in front here for 36 laps. We've had only 4 lead changes among 4 different drivers today. Kevin Harvick has led 19 laps and is in position.
We've been talking about Denny Hamlin. There he is, folks.
Still there.
He's run these leaders down. I think he might be the only car that has anything for those Stewart-Haas cars.
Another one of those Mustangs is Eric Almirola in 4th. Now Almirola is back 5 seconds back of the leader and 4.5 back of that lead trio.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Brad Keselowski. You know, he just spent a few laps. The 5 car of Kyle Larson was on his back bumper. Very impressive. You know, he's gotten back running in the top 10. He had a good streak early in the year. You know, he's found this racetrack to be to his liking today.
Well, let's tell Larson. I talked to him this week, and he said this isn't his best racetrack. He doesn't love it, but he's been very solid today, holding steady, 6th place. Anything can happen. Got to stay steady here.
Tyler Reddick has not led today. He's currently running 7th. He's been in the top 5 a good part of the afternoon.
And then I look at Todd Gillen. You know, he's up there still. He's in 8th place right now. And, you know, they made that 2-tire stop as he gets a little bit of wall there. But, you know, he made that 2-tire stop, got some track position, he stays after it. And, you know, he's staying up there in the, like I said, in the top 10. So pretty solid effort. Again, last weekend, a great run as well.
Daniel Suarez started outside pole. He's running 9th, but he says he has an issue entering the corners. It's a brake pressure issue. The pressure at the pedal just does not feel like it did early in the race.
Then you have his teammate Chastain, the only one that really gambled on the strategy. I mean, Gilliland took 2, but they stayed out, led a lot of laps, fixed their day. Was a 25th place car, almost, you know, led a lot of laps in that stage, and they're for sure back in this thing.
Christopher Bell took the lead here last fall with 5 laps to go and went to victory lane. He is 11th.
Bowman, man, he really had a good run there. Changed tires, it just hasn't been the same. He was lights out 2 sets of tires ago. I don't know, they made an adjustment there. They might be migrating back to that. Keep an eye on the 48.
Brian Blaney carrying our Advanced Auto Parts cam. And again, Blaney seems to take off well on the restart and then plateaus at about 12th, 13th place where he is right now.
And I'm going to say Ty Gibbs, you know, I sit here and watch him. He really's been quiet. Really haven't seen a lot out of him. He was a little bit 2-3 wide early on, but, you know, it seems like he's calmed down. Following Ryan Blaney, you know, pretty good pace right now. So probably just working on his car, trying to get to the end.
A.J. Allmendinger was trading a lot of paint early in this race and now has settled into a rhythm. Restarted 14th, and he's running within 1 position of that.
That's what I like about this. Corey LaJoie right behind him. 16th place for Corey LaJoie. That's overachieving for that car, in my opinion. He's done a great job this year. You're beating Byron, Elliott, Priest that led laps, Logano, Busch, Kyle Busch. Pretty good job for them boys.
Ricky Stenhouse has been kind of up and down within the top 20 for much of the day, and also a good bit of side-by-side. You see a little damage to both. Let's see, 3 out of the 4 wheel well openings have a little bit of damage there. No surprise.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Willie B, I mean, obviously, watching him, this is not the day that they were looking for. I think, you know, you saw him, Clint, before in the pre-race show, and, you know, he looked like he was all smiles, and, you know, just by what we saw yesterday and qualifying, thought he was going to be up running up front. He's just not doing it.
My friend Eddie, he called me this morning and said, man, who's fast? I said, keep an eye on that 24 car. Boy, I was wrong. Sorry, Eddie.
Justin Haley running in 19th. He's been a top 20 car a good part of the day. And Chase Elliott has climbed up from running 25th and 6th for a good part of this race. Regan can update us.
Yeah, Mike, they've been making gains on this race car all day long. The rear of the car has been the issue. It was too stiff early on. They have continued to make that better for Chase, though, to the point now where he's saying the drive is getting better, getting more like he needs it. Still needs help, but they're getting closer.
Well, now we get to the drivers who've been in the penalty box or started at the back for one reason or another. Ryan Preece was our pole sitter. He has climbed to 21st after having to serve that penalty because his pit stall was in box number 2. There are 43 pit boxes. They don't use 3 of them. And the reason they don't use box number 1 is so Preece can't just fire off and accelerate off pit road and win that race. He's got to come up and get to pit road speed, which he failed to do.
You said penalties. Bubba Wallace, not a happy camper on pit road today. Lost 3 spots on the first stop of the day, and then it was downhill from there. Got caught speeding on the next one. Mired in traffic now.
Joey Logano is 22nd. Logano found a water leak. The team found a water leak this morning. They made a change, had to start the race in the back, and he's been playing catch up ever since.
Yeah, look at Chris Buescher. You know, he's next in line there, and yeah, I mean, again, quiet day. You know, not the day they're looking for, but you know, still got a lot of racing to do, and you know, he's in 24th right now, and the good thing about it is he has been lower. You know, so maybe he's going forward. We'll see.
Well, he had that penalty back at lap 80, along with Kyle Busch, who is right behind Chris Buescher.
This one surprises me. He's been very solid week in and week out, and his teammate Austin Dillon, they're both back there struggling today with the RCR boys.
Let's check with Jamie.
And another one who's really struggling is Martin Truex Jr. started the race top 5, and they anticipated this track would be tightening up today, so they freed him up to start the race, and he has just been too loose. They've been working on it, but he needs a little bit of luck, and for starters, this is looking out to pit road. This is inside the hauler of the 19. It's a Chucky doll. Get rid of the Chucky doll. Get rid of that bad luck. It's kind of creepy.
I would say. Larry, we've only had 3 caution flags in this entire race, and 2 of them were planned for the end of the stages. So crew chiefs, you haven't had a whole lot to do to work on these cars.
You really had, Mike, and I just heard Jamie's report on Martin Truex Jr. When you've got a car that's loose, you know, you need major adjustments. You know, you need wedge. You've got to adjust air pressure. So, yeah, if you're spot on, these long green runs are right what you're looking for. But if you're struggling, it is a long, long day.
All right, we saw Eric Jones in 26. Here's Austin Dillon in 27th, who often runs in the top 10 here at Martinsville, and we're back up front with 160 laps to go. And Chase Briscoe, who's run more laps in the top 5 today than in all previous races this year combined. Welcome back to the NOCO 400, presented on FS1 by Mother's Polishes. 151 laps to go as you watch our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Powering every lap, every mile, and every victory on the road ahead. Goodyear, more driven. Chase Briscoe out in front by 0.2 of a second. This is how a lot of the statisticians keep up with the race.
Might not be by long, and it's no longer his teammate Kevin Harvick behind him. Denny Hamlin passing him, and right on the back bumper of Briscoe. Hamlin laying some really stout lap times down. Very good on a long run.
How hard is it to let this track come to you?
I think it's really hard. I mean, it really is hard because, you know, you don't want to, as we see Denny go inside of Kevin, and I'm sure Kevin gave him a little bit of break because he knew his car was faster. But, you know, I mean, the track, the rubber lay down, you know, the grip level and what your car is doing, the balance. And, you know, you just got to be really smooth and make every lap count. And, but, yeah, you just got to read the track as much as possible. As we see what Denny does, he goes up a little bit, comes down a little bit lower, tries to get a little forward drive, try to get up underneath Briscoe right here.
Hamlin to the inside to make the pass. And it'll be the first time Denny Hamlin has led today, if he's able to complete it.
Still there at your door. Still up there.
Briscoe's not going away quietly.
No. He definitely, you know, pinching him off a little bit off the corner. And I think that's, you know, as a driver, you don't want to lose that lead. And, you know, doesn't mind racing him right now.
Denny's sliding loose underneath him. I think that's why his car's so strong. I think you can see it's free. Seems like it keeps turning where some of those other ones are getting tight. I know that's something they worked on. Thinking back at yesterday's practice, and remember him saying that he didn't like his front end in his car. Said it just didn't feel like there was enough load in the front tires.
And I guess, you know, for Denny, again, knowing this racetrack and how good he is here, he knows how to feel that. I mean, feel those little things that some guys with less experience might not know. They might have to rely on the crew chief, where for his case, the driver kind of knows a little bit more and is exactly what he needs to roll that center of the corner to get some speed up off.
You know, Briscoe keeps running like this. Tony and Gene may want to break a finger on his other hand. You know, he hasn't had surgery on that broken finger. He's going to have it Monday. He said, I need to get through Martinsville before we do anything with this, and I'm going to run it to win it. And here he is.
Well, the good news is if anybody makes him mad, he doesn't have to actually physically put that finger out the window, because it's already splinted up in fashion, true fashion. So it ought to make that at least easier. Man, he slid up. Kevin Harvick almost got him.
Yeah.
You see that middle finger?
Rods and screws to be added.
There we go.
Right there.
Which one?
Cracked all the way down. Yep. It's the good one.
Nice work, man. 5-4.
It has to be hard to drive that car with the splint on it, though, and that finger straight up like that. Didn't slow him down. Did a great job at the dirt race. Your adrenaline takes over. You know, thinking about that. You're thinking about that boy in the 9 car, too. I think the adrenaline takes care of those guys.
Reagan.
Well, Mike, thinking back to the last caution that we had in that 14 car, he was very concerned about the long run speed of that race car. Felt like it was falling off too quick, slipping and sliding, getting into the corners too much, as we see his teammate Kevin Harvick going to the inside right now. They made a wedge adjustment on that last pit stop, which normally slows the stop down. They still beat everybody out of the pit stall. This pit crew has been on absolute fire today. Johnny Klossmeyer's crew chief knows that's a weapon he can use as this thing plays out.
That car right there is fast. 10 car. Almirola is catching his teammates. He's faster than them. Probably the only one that's holding pace with Hamlin at the moment. He's come a long ways back. Come from a long ways back.
Well, Clint, you said it at the end of stage 1. Here is Stewart Haas, first, third, and fourth. And but for the miscue by Preece on pit road, would probably have all their cars in the top 5.
Still out there, door.
What
Still
a
there,
day
door.
For those cars. There's the running order for Stewart Haas.
That's a picture right there that they, if Preece were there, they would put that in the office for sure. At this point in time for this year.
That'd be on the Christmas card right there.
Yeah.
Corey LaJoie way up the racetrack in turn 4, and we almost had a three wide situation there.
Yeah, I think I saw Priest get in the back of him, didn't like it, and he went in there and gave Priest a shot really hard. Shot him up the racetrack. I think that was payback. Missed a little bit, ended up costing him, 3 or 4 spots there. Keep it cool. Got to stay in this thing. He's done a good job so far. I'm talking about Corey LaJoie. Lost some positions. Was running 16th all the way back to 24th now.
Zane Smith on pit road, already 1 lap down, and will lose a lap at least with this stop. So, one player, Clint, is still alive in today's Fox Bet Super 6 contest to win your $5,000.
Well, man, this is such a tricky thing, Bobby. You know, I'm rooting for him, but I also know if he wins, he's taking my money. But I think he can do it. I think whoever that is, he or she, I think if they got that pick right, they deserve it. Those were some really tough questions this week. Fun, free to play, guys. Fox Bet Super 6 app. So much fun to interact with that. Follow along on social media. You guys are good race fans, and it shows with you making those solid picks each and every week.
Yeah, obviously, watching the screen here, I'm looking at Denny Hamlin. He went past Kyle Busch on the inside. I figured Kyle would have been a little bit better than that. And didn't see that coming. I thought Kyle would have been a little further up, but obviously he's a lap down now.
Yeah, just never recovered from that penalty at lap 80.
Again.
133 laps to go. Denny Hamlin in command at Martinsville.
Why you do that?
126 laps to go. Let's have a look at the NOCO race summary for today. You see at the top of the screen on our Fox Race Tracker, we've had only 1 caution for cause, total of 3 counting the stage breaks. 4 lead changes since Priest started from the pole and stuck up the show for 135 laps. Denny Hamlin, the current leader. 22 cars on the lead lap, all the way back to Bubba Wallace. Just 3 caution flags. Priest and Kevin Harvick, the stage winners today.
Really hard to believe, Bobby, that you can come here these days and see all that green flag racing. Used to have some serious carnage at this place.
Yeah, we haven't seen that you know, a lot lately in the past couple years. But, you know, obviously Denny Hamlin is just really moving on right now.
Corey LaJoie and Kyle Busch got together on the front straightaway, and it almost turned Kyle into the front stretch inside wall, and there's the payback right there.
Yeah. He didn't like that, did he?
Corey's been into it with 2 or 3 guys.
Here's what we're talking about. This was a lap ago.
I don't know what Nagu means, but it translated to "you're in my way" or something, because he definitely moved him out of the way there. I don't know what.
I don't necessarily think that one was.
No, that wasn't the one.
Payback. I don't think that was the one. I think something else happened.
There was a bigger one. There was a side slam coming down the front straightaway.
I was going to say, that didn't warrant what I just saw.
No, what you're seeing there is, I think, 400 laps of frustration.
Well, actually, the frustration, you know, with the joy came in the last 50 laps. I mean, he was 16th 50 laps ago, 29th now. Wheels have fallen off the bus.
Well, let's listen in on the 7, Corey LaJoie.
I'm playing bumper cars out here, man. Trying to get a caution. You get back to the 8, you park them, 10-4.
Oh, boy.
Well,
that's the one I was talking about.
That's the one that warranted.
Right.
That'll get you hot, Bobby. And it get you repaid.
Yeah, the caution might be the 7 if the 8 comes back around to catch him.
I think, I honestly, with the frustration the 8 had and him needing a caution, I'm surprised he didn't see more of that. How about Bubba?
This?
Giving you a big shot.
I don't know what he's doing there.
Wow.
Well, he's trying to get back on the lead lap.
Still, I've never seen somebody do that to the boss before.
Passed him and put him a lap down, and they're really not happy about that, is he?
Must not like the way he passed him. Might have moved him.
I wouldn't really care. I mean, I'm like, I better follow, you know.
Now, Wallace is also trying to come back from a penalty. His was for speeding at lap 133. Todd Gilliland in the top 10 here. They had that strategy call where they took just 2 tires earlier, and it's paid off for them.
Todd Gilliland's done a great job this year in that car. Really has rise to the, you know, to the opportunity. There was some talks. I think he got caught off guard with Zane Smith actually filling in some of the races, getting some races in that car. Didn't like that. Went to work and made it better.
So Ryan Preece, who got a self-imposed penalty for speeding, firing out of his pit box earlier at lap 133, was able to get right to the top 20, but the leader keeps advancing, and the pole sitter going a lap down to Denny Hamlin.
It just shows how fast Denny's car is right now. I mean, this longer run, obviously, you know, Denny's been able to go out there and put some good cars a lap down as he's catching Chase Elliott here. But
how about that good car that he's putting a lap down?
That's a really good car. I mean, that, you know,
unbelievable. Now he's in a wall.
Ran out of racetrack there.
Cannot beat yourself. Ryan Preece and that team, they show this.
Trying so hard.
I think I just talked myself out of the mic.
So 113 laps to go. Hamlin 1.3 seconds ahead of Kevin Harvick, and working heavy traffic. Ryan Blaney unscheduled, Larry.
Mike, it's definitely way shorter than what they can run. They can probably run another 40 or 50 laps, but what I'm seeing now, we're closing in on a 2nd and 3/4 of fall off, and I think if your car's handling bad, it's only going to get worse. So maybe some of them are really starting to short pit.
Yes, here comes Alex Bowman, who is also short pitting. As Larry says, they can go the distance from here. And Ryan Preece was able to pass Chase Elliott and drive away from Denny Hamlin for a bit here. Here's Wallace back alongside Hamlin, who is inside of Haley. That's the preferred line. Now he's going to have to deal with Blaney just ahead. Big stack up here at turn 3. And that's going to sort itself out. Christopher Bell, last fall's winner here, is in, and so is Kyle Busch and Tyler Reddick. So this begins green flag stops. Regan.
Like the 45 of Tyler Reddick has been too loose in and a little bit tight in the middle throughout the day. Right now he's been managing a lot of that with the brake bias. They're going to give him 4 tires here.
Kevin Harvick is in. And so is Haley. Jamie.
And once Kevin Harvick gave up that lead, he said, we got really bad, really quickly, tight through the middle, getting a little loose in. So he's looking forward to these adjustments here on the 4-tire stop and air pressure adjustment. Regan?
Eric Almirola in the 10 car after contact earlier with the 99 of Daniel Suarez was worried that race car had something bent. It was so loose to start this run. It's come back to him, though. He's happier with it right now.
Well, the leader, Denny Hamlin, he got caught up in a whole pile of cars that just exited the pits on fresh tires right in front of him. So he is coming to the pits. Regan?
Mike Denny's only complaint with that race car this run is it loses just a little bit of forward drive after 25 laps into the run, but I don't know that they need to worry too much about that. It seems like he's got way more than everybody else. And the 5 car, Kyle Larson, should be heading to the pits right now. That car has been getting better as the day goes on. They just can't connect the corner. If they get good in the middle, they don't have drive off, and otherwise they can't connect it.
Briscoe, Almirola, Chastain have been on pit road. Here's Byron, Chase Elliott, and Gilliland in. So that's about half of our lead lap cars have been to pit road. AJ Allmendinger too fast exiting. He'll have to come back around and make a pass down pit road at pit road speed. Jamie.
Great day for Todd Gilliland. Mike, you mentioned him. He's had top 10s in the last 2 of the last 3 races this season, so they're certainly on the upward swing. Been running top 10 all day today. They're happy with it. They said keep hitting your marks. Stay in the top 10. Quick stop for him.
Ricky Stenhouse on pit road. So is Eric Jones, and Allmendinger makes his penalty drive down pit road that'll take him off the lead lap today. Anthony Alfredo in the pits. So that will leave us the top 6 on the leaderboard, plus 8th place Martin Truex, 12th place Noah Gragson, 14th place Harrison Burton, and 16th place Corey LaJoie are the cars that have not yet stopped.
I think as a driver, when I saw those first guys pit, as a driver, I saw them, I would see them pit, and I would want to like say, hey, listen, do we need to do what they're doing? You know, because if they're going to come out and beat us on lap times, you know, short pit like Larry said, I mean, as a driver, that's what I want to do. I want to say, hey, let's keep up with them.
Absolutely.
Well, the big gainer so far has been Kevin Harvick on that green flag cycle, because Harvick was 0.7 of a second behind Hamlin when he pitted from second, and he is now in 8th place, the first of the cars that have already made their green flag stop.
Yeah, these guys are really thrashing to get around the leader, Keselowski. Get their lap back. Such a nerve-wracking time when you start at a green flag pit stops on these short tracks. Everybody bunched up, everybody coming out on tires, old tires. That's when something can happen. Get into the back of somebody with your grip mismatched with your new tires versus their old.
Now look on your left on the scoring pylon. There is the number of laps since the pit stops, as Keselowski is now in. That will turn the lead over to Daniel Suarez, who along with Wallace, Logano, Dillon, McDowell, and Truex and Gragson have yet to stop.
Logano sliding all over the place.
Jamie.
Yeah, Keselowski's had a pretty solid day. Certainly much better than the way he ran in both races last year. Stayed out there, led 7 laps. He said this full sun is playing into our hands. It's getting a little slick, and that means the car is better. 4-tire stop, air pressure adjustment for the 6.
Anthony Alfredo in trouble in turn 2. He came down the front stretch up against the wall, and look, there's why. Look at the tire against the wall on the front straightaway.
Yeah, it's off of turn 4. It should be a caution. I'm not sure why it's not.
Where'd you say?
Not sure where it's.
I didn't see the tire. Is it in the pits?
No, it's on the wall.
It's up
Yeah,
against
there's
the
the
wall.
caution
They
right
finally
there.
saw it. They
it's
couldn't
against the
see
wall
it.
in turn 4.
Yeah, you cannot see it from Well, I'm saying I see that. I'm saying if from up here in the grandstands or even in the booth, even for NASCAR, somebody had to tell them when the teams are probably telling them you couldn't see it up against the wall.
Well, that will be a suspension for a couple of crew members on the 78. There you see him in trouble coming off the corner and the wheel and tire exiting the car.
Man, Brad just did pit. Logano staying out. Wallace, that's going to save their day. They're going to have to pit here.
Ryan Blaney got a break. He gets the free pass, but the big winners here: Suarez, Wallace, Logano, McDowell, Truex, and then Gregson and Burton had not stopped. Now, a number of drivers that just had will likely take the wave around and get back on the lead lap. But this is pretty much going to be a free stop for those 5 lead lap cars that had not yet been to pit road. The ones with those numbers over 100 on your scoring pylon.
Absolutely. Actually only showing 11 cars on the lead lap right now. That's a caution you need. It was time to gamble for some of those guys. Wallace, they were out. Logano's been struggling all day long. Paid off for them.
Wallace was looking for a caution. He was beating on his team owner. I guess he got it, you know, without having to take somebody out or hit him too hard.
Absolutely. Huge turnaround for them in their day. New life, new shot in the arm.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you needed.
Joey Logano spent most of this race out of the top 25 after having to start in the back because they had a water leak this morning, changed a part, and NASCAR said, okay, you lose your starting position, you start in the rear. And now, he's the 4th place car.
Yeah.
Eric Jones, we're told, has been penalized. Improper fueling on the 43. So Martin Truex up into the top 10 after he was mired down around 25th place for a while.
Yeah, he was hanging out there and slipping and sliding. I mean, he got a lap down after several laps and, you know, definitely looked like he needed a major chassis adjustment. So this is going to, perk his day back up.
So of the drivers that stopped under green, Kevin Harvick in the best place right now, 3rd place. Denny Hamlin, who was leading on the green flag stops, now 5th. Regan?
Mike, the 23 car, Bubba Wallace, they wanted to play the long game there. It worked out good for him. Bubba very happy with the team for doing that. He needs lateral grip with that race car. And the 22 of Joey Logano, another great break for them. He has been loose off and tight in the middle all day long, though that was the best run so far. Jamie?
Kevin Harvick in once again just to put some new tires on there. The 99 of Daniel Suarez, terrible last run. He had that issue in the rear. Wasn't sure what it was, made an air pressure adjustment, 4 tires.
So Suarez leads them off pit road. Bunch of drivers up ahead that did not stop, and there is the reason for the caution flag. Coming up next, USFL kickoff weekend continues. The Pittsburgh Maulers open their season against the New Orleans Breakers next here on FS1 and on the Fox Sports app.
Yes, and Pittsburgh Maulers, they changed the colors black. That way they should be yellow and black. Bobby, I'm all over the Maulers. That is an awesome name. Has to be an awesome team.
I kind of like the New Orleans Breakers.
You're out.
What?
You're on. How about that? You're on. We're going to maul you.
No.
Yes.
I'm going to break you.
I say
How's
we
that?
as in I've took ownership into Pittsburgh. I like it. That's my team for the year.
Nope. Well, I'm going to enjoy watching. You guys can maul and break each other all you want.
He's broken.
But it's spring football. It's on FS1. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a maul. A mauling.
All right, 12 cars took the wave around to start in the back. They had pitted under green. And once the leader came down pit road, they were the first cars behind the pace car. So they are back on the lead lap. 24 lead lap cars, including Ryan Blaney, the free pass car. Todd Gilliland has dropped a cylinder, we're told. Just running on 7. That's going to spoil what's been a great day so far for him. But he's still on the lead lap and will restart 16th.
That's too bad. We were just talking about how good a job he's been doing. Had a good, strong run going here.
You know, back years ago, if you dropped a cylinder, it might be okay.
I'm interested to see Larson. Stayed out here and got some track position. If he can get that lead, maybe he can take advantage of it. Those 3 cars stayed out. Briscoe, Reddick, and Larson. Harvick still, I think he's going to be, what do they call him, Bobby?
The closer.
Oh.
The closer.
Might just be his day.
Well, Briscoe, Harvick, Wallace, they all stopped under green prior to this caution flag for Alfredo. We're going to have 88 laps to go in Martinsville. Green flag.
That's your door, my half your lane, quarter, bumper clear, tight in line now.
Big block by Wallace down there. That's a really strong car, Eric Almirola. Careful of them blocks. Pretty aggressive.
Kyle Larson trying to block both lanes at once as he tries to hold back Reddick and Harvick.
Look at the difference, Logano. Man, it's changed his whole day. Got the track position he needed. Going to get clear of Wallace here.
And you got Denny that was, you know, so fast. Now he's back there, mired back a little bit on the outside. Can't get turned down, get in line. No room for him.
Kyle Larson, that's as high as a Hendrick car has been today. Second place. Watching Briscoe take off. Denny Hamlin to the outside, makes a pass. And Martin Truex. Teammates there.
You look at Chase Briscoe. I mean, he's pulled away from Kyle Larson. I mean, it's impressive, you know, just staying out there like that, and or not staying out there, but staying up there and just driving off. That Stewart-Haas car is really fast.
3 wide in the back. Christopher Bell almost got caught in the middle of the sandwich there in turn number 2 and squeezed. A little bump and run there. Allmendinger gets aggressive on the back bumper of Chastain.
Drop back, outside only.
Man, it's a mess back there. They are throwing haymakers, beating and banging every corner.
Now, Michael McDowell is on the lead lap. The cars he's battling here are not. Gregson and Dillon. And everybody gets a little impatient right there. Denny Hamlin in 9th. We listened in.
Oh yeah, we're plowing now, baby. Copy that. Patience, bud. Stay under the tires. Long way to go.
Track position. Plowing in that dirty air with those cars. Cannot believe I'm saying
Outside
that
barely
at Martinsville.
Yeah. Yeah, you just
Still there. Got to stay down here
you
till we
don't
get to
realize
51.
sometimes until you're up front how much track position really means for you.
It's been that way
Outside
for
the 9.
everybody. Preece.
Keselowski with our Ford camera looking back at Austin Dillon, who is not on the lead lap, or who is back on the lead lap, excuse me, in 22nd.
Go tight in front, outside the 9. Bumper, and bumper, bumper, bumper. Still there, then I lost the bottom of the 3. Half back on the bottom. You're good, I'm good.
Good rep battle there for 21st.
Bumper, still there. Still there.
One lap. One lap, Bobby, is all he needed. Missed that caution. He was on pit road. Talking about Keselowski there. Man.
Yeah, if he would have stayed out, for sure. I mean, we talked about him earlier about, you know, being pretty competitive, being up there in the top 10 and being pretty steady. And, you know, obviously, like we talked about over and over about being in traffic. And we looked at it a while ago, and I think I looked at you and you said, yeah, I hate to be back there. And I remember times we were back there, and it's like, man, it's such a struggle to try to get away from cars. You like to look up front and you want to be single file. You don't want to be having to race anybody.
It's just a grind back. Every single lap, beating and banging and dooring somebody, getting doored, slipping and sliding, can't get in a groove. You know, we talk about this racetrack, and, you know, it's such a rhythmic racetrack. You have to find that rhythm, and when you do that, you just start putting them lap times down, and the only way you can do that is to be out front like Chase Briscoe. When you're back here in traffic like Austin Dillon right there, you are in big trouble.
3 wide. Plenty of room.
Door. Bumper. Bumper. Barely there. Barely there. Bumper. Bumper.
And there's no let up. Now, if you like white knuckle racing, next Sunday the NASCAR Cup Series returns to Fox as we head to Talladega. Catch all the action with the pre-race kicking off at 2 Eastern, and then engines fire for the Geico 500 at 3 o'clock Eastern time. Tony Stewart will join us on Fox next Sunday at the world's fastest speedway.
Looking forward to that one. What a wild race that is. Never know what's going to happen there. Talladega sure is a fun time.
Larry?
Yeah, you see Chase Briscoe in his 14 car leading the race. Of course, they were one of the 3 cars that stayed out. That's how he got the lead. But honestly, that caution was a lucky break for that 14 car, because before the green flag pit stop at lap 292, he was running 3rd, and we couldn't figure out how come he had such a slow stop. We went back and found the fact that the right rear lug nut completely fell off, and the tire changer had to retrieve another lug nut, and they had a very slow stop. He got way behind. So really a little bit of a lucky break for that 14 car.
Wow, sure was. So 71 laps to go. Briscoe leads Kyle Larson by 1.7 seconds as we take you Fox side by side. 64 laps to go in Martinsville. Martin Truex Jr. has driven to Ruoff Mortgage Victory Lane 3 times here. Who will make it today? Chase Briscoe with a 2-second lead on Kyle Larson. Tyler Reddick another second back. This is the most laps Briscoe has ever led in a Cup race. When he won at Phoenix in March of last year, he led 101. He's been out front now for 102. And that number's climbing. No pressure from Larson, 2 seconds back. Best battle on the racetrack, probably Reddick and Harvick. They're only a car length apart entering turn number 3.
Yeah, Harvick's definitely coming. This is a long run speed in him, and it'd be interesting to see if Denny Hamlin can come as well, but he just doesn't seem to be near as good as he was when he had a better track position.
Well, they got a few laps on their tires, and you know they're definitely the hottest they're going to be, slipping and sliding a little bit, and you know everybody's trying to find a little extra something, and you know like you said earlier, desperation time and all that. But yeah, I don't know that it's good to see Reddick get back up there at this position, because you know he's kind of been riding pretty quietly, but you know, now he's put himself in the top 3, trying to hold him off.
Saw a good bit of bump and thump during that side-by-side break. Ryan Preece and Ross Chastain had a discussion of bumper covers. Austin Dillon got into the back of Ty Gibbs to move up a spot. Drivers around the top 15 to 18. A lot of movement here as we close in on 50 to go.
Yeah, that's goes back to that desperation, Mike. I mean, you know, you got to make something happen, and you try to get everything you can. Every point counts, and yeah, makes it you're going to get pushed, shoved around.
Oh, got one
in the wall. That's the 15, J.J. Yaley. In turn 3, just kind of went straight in.
Yeah, sure. Something had to happen on right front.
That'll be the 5th caution flag of the day at lap 344. Well, watch for the blue car. Had the brakes locked up, but
yeah, he did. I'm wondering if the right front tire was down. Well, no, you can see that it's up. Their brakes went haywire with the brakes. Something happened to that car, obviously.
Window net's down. That's the signal to the AMR safety crew that JJ's okay. Look at those skid marks. So he had it all locked up. It just wouldn't slow.
It's good to see that he's got the helmet off, but yeah, something had to happen. I'm not sure. It's a lot of skid marks for a long way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if lost rear brakes or something. Obviously the
throttle.
So Kyle Busch will get the free pass on this caution flag as Yaley climbs out a little gingerly. Well, Larry, 56 laps to go. What do you want to do here?
Well, Mike, I go back earlier in the race when Ross Chastain had 40 laps on his tires and he stayed out. Right now, these guys have about 30 laps. We're going to go back racing without 50 to go. Honestly, I think you're going to see strategy all over the place right here.
Larson and Reddick among the front runners and have more time or more laps on their tires than anybody else. But
Logano,
here they come.
Almirola and Denny Hamlin all stay out.
Regan.
Mike, it was a very late call to bring Chase Briscoe to pit road. The pit call was code word Mahindra. It was set right as they were getting to the line. He barely made it down right there. It's going to be 4 tires for him, and the 5 car of Kyle Larson is pretty good right now. He's just needing to get into his rhythm. Jamie?
Yeah, and a little discussion on the 4 radio. This is their last set of sticker tires going on that 4 right now. Daniel Suarez on the right side, a little bit better, but not great after that last stop. So they wanted to pit again, make one more adjustment.
Kyle Larson is gambling on 2 tires.
Well, Larry called it. They're all over the place. 2 tires staying out, 4 tires. Blaney up 4 positions on 2 tires. Game on.
So we'll go side by side with 55 laps to go under caution. Coming up next, the USFL kickoff weekend. The Maulers against the Breakers. Next, right here on FS1 on the Fox Sports app. Who are you going to maul? Who are you going to break?
I'm going to maul him.
I'm going to break them.
Well, somebody mauled Kevin Harvick's wheel. The wheel nut came off. And look at how that rim is separated, just like it had been cut on a lathe.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. You could see when he was coming in, the lug nut was off of it, and I think actually that's the reason it stayed on there. I think the caliper cut that thing in half. You can see it. Obviously, there's no lug nut on there, but look at the shavings. See the aluminum shavings ripping off that thing? Now, the caliper or maybe the some bolt got in there, held that wheel on there. Pretty lucky for them.
Wow. Jamie.
Yeah, and right away when Kevin Harvick left his pit box the first time, he said, I think we've got a loose wheel. Then the team told him, no, it looks flat. And now Kevin thinks maybe something broke inside. So he came in, they put a right front on it. But remember, I said they had already put their last set of scuffs or sticker tires on there. So they put their qualifying scuff on that right front.
So is the qualifying scuff the tire that went down, Jamie?
No, that was the last sticker tire. So they just replaced it with that qualifying scuff.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Sure.
Terrible blow. Couldn't be any worse timing for that. Really no chance with 50 laps to go for a rebound. Just a bad luck thing. That is a product of exactly what you were saying earlier with the loose wheel talk. The wheel gets caught. It tightens up. That changer thinks that it's tight, and it's not at all. It's not seated in the pins.
Yeah.
And does it get past the stopper that will not let the lug nut come off?
Well, NASCAR fans, here's one for free. Everybody loves free, right? NASCAR Fan Rewards, a free program where you can earn points for free race tickets, VIP experiences, and NASCAR merchandise. During today's race, members who check in on the leaderboard earn triple the usual points. Log in or sign up at NASCAR.com/rewards.
This is going to be so interesting. Inside 50 to go. I really like. See the lug nut probably going to fall off this 4 car. There it goes. You can see it rolling across the track.
Yeah, Larry Mack and his producer Steve Shaw found that for us on that footage.
I like this 10 car. I like where he's at. Almirola has been really fast. Obviously, he's got to make some quick time with Logano. Logano's struggled a little bit. Obviously, new life for him, taking advantage of that untimely pit stop.
Took a little longer than usual to remove J.J. Yaley's car from the turn 3 wall. It is now being hauled away by one of the steps wreckers, and we should get back to green shortly. Full sun over the racetrack, except for the shaded portion of the straightaway, as you see from our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, powering every mile and every moment on NASCAR's road to victory. Goodyear, more driven. You know, we've talked about the Hail Melon, and we've shown it to you enough times that maybe you think you were here last fall when it happened. But that was only the second greatest finish in Martinsville history. In the 1981 Spring Dogwood 500, up on the wall is Richie Evans, and I mean up on the wall, because he and Jeff Bodine in the 99 both refused to lose this race, battered and banged each other until coming off turn 4. Bodine sent Evans to the wall, and he kept his foot in it. I think only 2 tires were touching the ground when Richie Evans took the checkered flag. Up on the wall, a video game move, a slot car move, call it what you will, but that was the Hail Melon by Ross Chastain that put him into the history books 40 years later here.
I know we show it a lot, but man, show me something more spectacular than that. I honestly, just because it's recent, that'll go down as one of the most memorable moments in this sport's history.
All right, We're getting ready for the restart, and here's who stayed out. Joey Logano, who was 6th. Eric Almirola was 8th. Denny Hamlin was 9th. Ricky Stenhouse was 24th. Here's the Logano radio.
So when the one stayed out earlier today, he got the lead. It took 28 laps before he even got past. He had 10 more laps on his tires. And you know how he was running at that point in the race. Go for it.
Now also Larson, Suarez, Blaney, Byron, and Austin Dillon just took 2 tires to move up in the running order. So here we go with 25 lead lap cars and 46 laps to go.
Not a great start at all for Almirola on the outside. Didn't get a good jump.
Gives Denny a shot to move him up the racetrack here and get into second.
Yeah, Larson elected to get down behind Denny because of that. Here comes Briscoe too. Made pretty quick work to get right on the back bumper of those boys.
I think if you're the guy with used tires, you don't want to be on the outside. You want to try to hug that bottom and protect it.
Got a little loose there. Almirola on it, getting into the corner. He's holding strong. Has to be careful. Briscoe on those tires is able to get a 2-for-1 here. Be exactly what he's looking for.
A little contact between those teammates.
Get down. Right at your bumper, get down.
And Almirola couldn't hold the bottom. Here comes Briscoe again. Jamie?
William Byron in 12th right now just came on the radio and said something's vibrating, like we might be blowing up, so the team is ready if he needs to pit.
He's in a hornet's nest right there.
Well, Logano certainly got the jump, got the track position that he needed, and is driving away. But right before that caution came to green, Bobby looked at me and held up 2 fingers, said that 11 car. He's there, but I'm telling you, Larson is there. Going to make a pass on him. 2 tires for Larson. 41 to go.
Hey, you know, the track's maybe a little bit different now than it was earlier when those guys got 2 tires and, you know, took a gamble or stayed out. So maybe staying out might not have been the right thing to do this time.
But here's what happens when you leave the track early, or let's say you go away from the TV for a while and come back. Joey Logano's average running position today is 23rd. Other than the timing of this caution, there's no way he would be up here challenging for this win. Yet, here he is.
Yeah, that's a great point. We saw him go a lap down, and we saw, you know, just never could get out of his, you know, out from the back there. But fresh air and clean racetrack, man, really changed his day.
Larson about a 10th faster than leader Logano. He's coming. Briscoe is as well. Briscoe needs to make quick time of Denny. Denny's, for whatever reason, just doesn't have the car here late in the race.
Hamlin's the only Toyota in the top 8. Truex just gave Reddick a boot to move up to 10th behind Bubba Wallace.
Another 10th off the leader that lap as well. Pretty much on him.
Ford, Chevy, Toyota 1, 2, 3, with Fords filling 3 of the top 5 spots. 37 to go.
Three-quarters line.
Austin Dillon gets a little aggressive with Reddick as well, and the 48 of Bowman's going to follow him through perhaps.
Reddick's not having a good time right now. He's definitely falling back, stuck on that outside.
It's going to be important for Kyle to use this momentum, use the tires early. You're only on 2 tires. Get by him, pounce on this, and go. He's going to try to cross over here. Not quite yet. You get stalled out. Start using your car up, abusing the tires more and more. I think he needs to try to get this done as fast as possible.
Yeah, you know, the 2 tires, you know, obviously showing that he's got good pace with it, but, you know, still got a lot of laps left, and you never know when it might fall off. You know, I mean, it gets to a point where it's like, okay, I've lost all grip. So I'm with you. He's got to get past Joey and you know, try to maintain that lead. But if you don't, the more you wear out your tires trying to get past him. Somebody, you know, the guys behind him are going to catch back up. You're going to lose a little time.
Might see it right here. Here he comes. Great crossover, but he got to his bumper at the wrong place.
You're gonna push early, push early, push early, push early. Tight, single, you're clear.
1984. Rick Hendrick's fledgling NASCAR team was all but out of business. Crew Chief Harry Hyde said, the car's ready for Martinsville. The boys want to go. We don't want to close up shop.
There he is.
We want to come here. And they won that race with Jeff Bodine in car number 5, which launched Hendrick Motorsports on its eventual run to be the most successful team in NASCAR. So here is car number 5, Kyle Larson, taking the lead.
Wow, just did not see this out of the 5 car. He was solid all day long, but man, they capitalized on that off-sequence pit stop. Here he is, racing for the lead. 30 laps to go.
Yeah, he's been able to outbrake Joey going in, but you know, can't quite get the pass. I mean, Joey's able to hold on the outside, just like he just keeps pulling back up to him. Can't make it clear, and he's got to clear him.
Well, he moved him up the last corner. There he's moving him up again. He's going to get it cleared up off the corner. Now you got to run and hide.
Good point. You don't want to let Logano back to your bumper. There he is.
Yep. I think that might have been it right there.
Got him on her feet now. People like it.
Yeah.
Race is on.
A lot of blue in that section of the grandstand.
Nice and space. Just hit your markers. Clear by 3. Coming back to 27 to go.
Now that has allowed Denny Hamlin to close within 1.2 seconds ahead of Briscoe and Almirola.
Such a good feeling if you're Larson. Obviously 2 tires, 27 laps to go. You heard his spotter tell him that. Now just settle in, manage that gap. If there's a caution or something, you're going to need all the tire you can get. Some of these guys will have 4 tires. Excuse me, you know, Briscoe, Almirola, those guys will be strong if there's a restart.
Battle on the left of your screen, 6th place, Ricky Stenhouse ending up with a great day here, but Martin Truex has been on the charge since the restart and takes over 6th place.
Yeah, that's a good run for Ricky. I mean, you know, he's out there. He doesn't have a tire mark on it. So
Ricky?
Yeah, looks like it.
Okay. Wow.
Better than the next 4.
Kyle Larson was runner-up here last fall. Does not have a grandfather clock in his collection.
Yeah, I was talking to him this week, and he just said he struggles here a little bit. Not one of his favorite racetracks, and that all might change here. 24 laps. This will be a big one for him. He'll be excited as he gets.
His teammate Chase Elliott is one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, along with Martin Truex. Elliott back in 13th. First race back for Chase Elliott after breaking his leg in a snowboarding accident. There's the Hendrick dominance here. This has been probably the best and worst racetrack for Rick Hendrick in his time in the NASCAR Cup Series. Here's Regan.
Mike, interesting side note on that 5 car. You guys mentioned that his best finish was 2nd last time that we came here. This is a completely different setup, though. Cliff Daniels, crew chief, told me we wanted to try something different. We were always good on the front ends of runs. We wanted to see if we could make our race car better on the backside of a run if we have long runs. They tried that for today. It looks like it's playing out right now.
Unbelievable how this race has changed. We haven't talked about him all day long, but Truex here passing for 5th. Unbelievable.
Quarter, bumper.
Showing up when the time's right.
Yeah. Yeah, Clint. Yeah, he set him up down there in 1 and 2 and just made a pass off him off of turn 2, like you know, like Eric really didn't have a chance to even try to block him or hold that spot. He's so quick off that corner back a while ago.
No, Truex has been the best car here since the restart.
I'm very impressed with Logano. Again, another car that's just completely changed their day for the better, taking advantage of some strategy and some situations that's happened with cautions. and holding his own. I mean, there's a lot of laps. He last pitted on lap 306 with 19 to go here. I mean, you might lose 1 or 2, but it's not just going to fall off a cliff and go back to where you were. Huge turnaround for them. They're going to be happy about that. Caution could change that.
11th place, Alex Bowman, Chase Elliott. Elliott in the last 20 laps has picked up about 4 positions here. He's one of the faster cars on the racetrack. I was watching a video clip earlier today from the 1980s, and you had Richard Petty, Darrell Waltrip, Bobby Alice, and others talking about, would you rather be lucky or good? And of course, Darrell wanted both sides of the equation. Well, I want to be good, but, you know, I'll take lucky any day. Joey Logano has made his own racing luck. Fought his way now to 2nd place. First on the restart, but for a car whose average running position today until the last 20 laps was 23rd. That's by far the biggest turnaround of the day.
Knowing what I know now, I would want to be lucky.
Yes.
You know, because I mean, you could be everybody's good. If you had a little bad luck, if you get your luck back, and I think you're going to be pretty strong.
Martin Truex making his own luck, racing Chase Briscoe for 4th now.
Truex is flying.
Quarter, bumper, clear, stretching.
He probably has enough time to battle Logano for 2nd before this is over 15 laps from now.
I think you're dead on with that. And then a caution, if something catches a caution, might just be just what the doctor ordered. There you saw Larson go, and here comes Logano. He's gone. Just logging laps, 13 to go. Right there in the hole he's in, that's kind of where I want to ride. Manage that. I don't want to get up there. You got 3 wide, beating and banging up ahead of you. I don't want any part of that.
Larson and Truex, fastest cars on the racetrack right now.
Closer you get to those guys too, you know, you talk about managing this situation, the lead, they're not catching you. And the closer you get to the lappers, they start racing harder and ratcheting up their tension. They start beating and banging on each other. You do not want a caution.
Clint, did Kyle give any indication why he doesn't like this place, or did he just feel the track doesn't like him and his style of driving?
Of course he did. He's a race car driver. He hadn't won here yet.
Oh, okay.
Of course, if you talk to Kyle, you know, it's, well, I just suck there, you know, and it's like, oh, really? You think that's the problem? Just haven't figured out the combination yet.
Yeah.
I think they're on it here.
Boy, Martin Truex he is all over Denny Hamlin now for 3rd place with 10 to go.
Yeah.
And this battle will probably keep him from getting to Logano. See which of these Toyotas prevails for 3rd place.
Yeah, Kyle really pulled out to that lead over Logano. You know, like you said, he needed to make that move, and he did. And he got past him. And you know, if he doesn't have, if the caution doesn't come out, he should be safe to say that he'll be, you know, good to go.
Jamie?
Well, it's been interesting watching Martin Truex Jr. They came in pretty optimistic. Remember, he won at the Coliseum, and it has similar principles, so they thought they were going to be good. They have been extremely loose all day. They finally hit on something on that last stop with air pressure. Remember, he has the 4 tires. He's going forward, guys, and it's hard to believe, Mike, he hasn't finished in the top 5 yet this year.
Wow.
Perhaps he ends that now.
Now, Bobby, you ran the Smart Modified Tour last night at Hickory. Do you guys run by the 3-tap rule? Because Martin's already given him 1 tap to say I'm here. The 2nd tap is move over, and you know what the 3rd one is.
Yeah, now I don't think we don't do that. I mean, we do that, but we might do it in two taps,
okay,
and you're already out of the groove. So
well, he tapped around the 11, tap danced. Unbelievable, man. Just looking, you know, down the list here, Logano. I mean, we're talking an average running position today of 21st, 22nd, and 2nd place. Truex, you just see passing for 3rd place there. It's like an average running position of 18th. We're running 3rd now. And the other one I want to point out, Stenhouse Jr. running 7th. He was, again, another guy that's averaged around 19th place all day long. Overachieving when the time's right, taking advantage of these pit cycles and things like that strategy.
Now we saw Chase Elliott move up into the top 10 as Kyle Larson negotiates some traffic. Larry, is there a trend left we haven't hit on?
Well, there may be, Mike. We've had 8 Martinsville overtime finishes, including this race 1 year ago. And let me remind you, in 8 races this year, half of them, 4, went to overtime.
Okay. 4 to go. Well, if you watch the first 300 laps of this race, you'd say this finish is totally unexpected. Larson, Logano, Truex, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I for sure didn't see this. You know, what we saw early on with Ryan Preece out there leading all those laps.
And then Chase Briscoe, and then Denny Hamlin.
Yeah.
All very strong today.
Well, let's face it, it wasn't necessarily done on the racetrack. It was done in the pit area, strategy and things like that. Just the way the cards fell. It ain't over. Just like Larry said, this boy's in it. Now I'm in a hurry if I'm Kyle Larson. I'm trying to get around to that white flag as fast as I possibly can to make this race official.
All right, Larson rounds off turn number 4. White flag, 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Bobby. Truex is all over Logano for second. One last ditch effort here at 3 and 4.
What a comeback. Kyle Larson continues the Hendrick dominance at Martinsville.
I don't even know what to say. I never thought I would here. Thank you guys so much. Great pit stop, great execution, great strategy. Great job all around, guys.
Joey Logano held off Martin Truex by a car length for second. This is Larson's 21st career win in the NASCAR Cup Series, tying him for 38th all-time with Jeff Burton, Benny Parsons, Jack Smith, and Bobby Labonte.
Nice. Good tie.
Yeah.
I think he's going to win more after this than I did. I am.
Took him 17 races to get to victory lane in Martinsville.
Be careful doing these burnouts these days. Might end up on fire.
Yeah.
This boy's going to be pumped up.
Yeah, last night in the Xfinity race, John Hunter Nemechek won the race and then burned his car down with his burnouts. Everything caught fire. Nemechek hopped out, and instead of talking about his race, told everybody about the fire extinguisher company that was sponsoring his car last night. Good thing.
Hats off to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and his team. 8th place, another top 10 finish for them. Bubba Wallace, after all the struggles, pit road speeding penalty, losing spots on pit road, top 10. And Chase Elliott comes back from a broken leg, a top 10, just what the doctor ordered. Logano, unbelievable turnaround for him, 2nd place.
Yeah, great day for Hendrick Motorsports. Obviously, not all their cars in the top 5 or top 10. We've seen that throughout the year, but for Chase, I think that's great. And like you said, for Kyle, I think this is like probably at this point in time maybe his favorite win.
I think, did he just do a burnout all the way around the racetrack?
Yes, he did. 28th Martinsville win for Hendrick Motorsports. Most all-time of all teams, 9 different drivers. They've won 4 of the last 6, and their winning numbers are better than 1 in every 3 races they've entered here.
That's impressive.
Not too shabby. Not the finish that Stuart Haas wanted. I want to go back. We talked about them early in the show. They showed speed. Ryan Preece, again, another frustrating ending. Got to clean these mistakes up, and I think you might see that boy in victory lane.
But for Stuart Haas, Preece won the pole, led the most laps, and Stuart Haas finished 2nd, 5th, and 6th with Logano, Briscoe, and Almirola. Clint, I'll bet he likes this place now.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is changes your whole thought process on a racetrack, doesn't it, Bobby?
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure when you see him at Millbridge on Tuesday night, he'll be smiling.
Jamie Little.
Kyle Larson with that masterful burnout around the entire racetrack. And Kyle, we know you've said it many times, this is not your favorite track. It's been tough for you. That 2-tire call, though, how were you able to capitalize on that strategy call and change things and get the win here?
Yeah, just huge congratulations to this whole 5 team and Hendrick Motorsports. I feel like Cliff and everybody did a great job all day on pit road, making the right calls, having great pit stops, and then it all kind of worked out for me there at the end. We had a great car. That was the best my car had been, I think, you know, being able to get out front and manage. But yeah, I never, ever would have thought that I would won here at Martinsville. This place has been so tough on me. Just does not suit my driving style at all. I like to charge the center. I like to roll momentum, and that's just not what this place is like. But thanks to Cliff Daniels and everybody for making me feel like I know what I'm doing sometimes around here. So just can't believe it. Glad my family's here too. Caitlin and the kids, I'm sure they're trying to get down here to the infield. But this is amazing. I honestly have never thought that I would win here, so I don't have a spot picked out either for the clock. So I'm going to have to make some space for sure.
It's such a storied racetrack. It's been in the series since NASCAR began, and it means a lot to Hendrick Motorsports. And you've heard about the clock. All of those things considered, what does this mean to Kyle Larson?
Yeah, it means a lot to me, but I think more importantly, it means a lot to the whole Hendrick family and Hendrick Motorsports family. You know, everybody knows what happened here so long ago, and I think everybody, you know, that's on everybody's minds every time they come to Martinsville. So wish Rick was here, Linda, but we got Jeff Gordon here, and I'm sure Rick's probably on hold with Jeff Andrews or something waiting to talk to me. So just, gosh, again, thanks to everybody at Hendrick Motorsports. You guys are the best, and make me. I can't believe it. I can't believe that I won at Martinsville.
Well, your team is waiting for you to celebrate. Congratulations, Kyle Larson wins at Martinsville.